Now, did you get tired of mowing the grass, or was it primarily reducing your water consumption?
For my wife, it was, I think, saving money. For me, it was the upkeep, the mowing the grass. But in addition to the work that you do, you're using gasoline in addition to water, and we've become very aware of our environment and our responsibility as citizens.
Have you noticed reduction in your water bills?
Right. Since we put in the drought-tolerant plants, we've saved about $30 to $40 a month.
That's good savings.
It is.
Would you recommend it?
I'd recommend it to just about everybody. I've lived in Glendale for more than 30 years. We've lived in this house since it was first built, and I would recommend the program because it's a good cooperation between the City of Glendale and the citizens.
Great, Mike. Thanks for joining us and sharing your story.
Well, thank you.
You know, for more information on the Landscape Rebate Program, water conservation, visit glendaleaz.com/water conservation. In addition to the many opportunities, services, and resources available to you, you'll want to keep up to date with all things Glendale. We invite you to watch us, like us, and follow us. Here's how with Jen Stein.
Hi, I'm Jen Stein in the PR office with the City of Glendale. I'm going to show you how easy it is to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Literally at your fingertips, 24 hours a day, you can receive information about events, activities, or special deals. For example, you can just click on the icon under social media, and here you go. You're taken right to the main page and you can join. Also, you can check out the latest videos on Glendale 11's YouTube channel. And don't forget how easy it is to follow us on Twitter, where you can receive the latest updates on upcoming events or information. Another great resource is visit glendaleaz.com. This is kind of like a Groupon, where we send exclusive deals and discounts to those who actually sign up on our Visit Glendale AZ Facebook. Finding us is easy. Whether you use your computer or your smartphone, stay connected with the City of Glendale through social media.
Thanks, Jen. Well, we have just touched the surface of the scores of services and resources the City of Glendale makes available online and in person. For a complete listing, just visit glendaleaz.com and then click on the Departments or Services links. I'm John Brixton, thanking you for joining us here on Glendale A to Z.
Hello.
Welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of May 16, 2013. My name is Robert Petrone, and I'm the chairman of the commission. The Planning Commission is a citizen body appointed by the City Council. The commission is empowered to make final decisions on certain matters, with those being appealable to the City Council. On other matters, the commission acts in an advisory role to the council, with the council making the final decision. You will have an opportunity to address the commission during the public hearing portion of the meeting. Your testimony is appreciated and encouraged. The commission acts from a written agenda. You'll need to fill out a yellow speaker card and give it to city staff if you should wish to speak on an item. Copies of the agenda and the speaker cards are located on the table just inside the door to council chambers. The commission is comprised of one representative of each of the 6 cities' districts and one mayoral appointee. Currently, all seats are filled except the vacated Ocotillo district seat. Commissioners present tonight from my left are Commissioner Aldama from the Yucca District, Vice Chair and Mayoral Appointee Commissioner Larson. To my immediate right is Commissioner Pinella of the Saguaro District, Commissioner Lennox of the Beryl District, and from the Cactus District, Commissioner Johnston. I represent the Cholla District. Let the record show then that all commissioners are present with exception of the vacant Ocotillo District seat. Planning Commission receives staff assistance and guidance from the Planning Division and the City Attorney's Office. Ms. Perry, would you please introduce the city staff who are present this evening?
Thank you and good evening, Chairperson Patron and Commissioners. To my left is Debbie Robertson, Deputy City Attorney. Across the dais is Susie Ricard, Recording Secretary. Making the two presentations this evening is Thomas Ritz, Senior Planner, and I am Tabitha Perry, Assistant Planning Director.
Thank you, Ms. Perry. On to the approval of the minutes from the meetings of April 4th, 2013 and April 18th, 2013. We will vote on the April 4 minutes first. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes of the April 4, 2013 meeting?
So move.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
The motion passes. The same procedure will be followed now for the minutes of the April 18th meeting. May I have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
The minutes of April 4th and April 18th are now both approved. Ms. Perry, are there any withdrawals or continuances this evening?
Chairperson Patron, there are none.
We have a staff request to review a fiscal report for fiscal 2013 and 2014. So we're going to jump to that right now, and we'll have that presentation first.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. This is a request to determine if the fiscal year 2013-2014 preliminary capital improvement plan conforms to the general plan. This request deals with the 10-year CIP. It's updated annually to ensure consistency with City Council's strategic goals, objectives, and priorities, intergovernmental agreements, and ongoing projects in the community. In Glendale, the Planning Commission reviews the ensuing year, fiscal year 2013-14 preliminary capital improvement plan to determine if the projects are in conformance with the adopted general plan. This is the only responsibility Planning Commission has for the CIP process. Staff recommendation is to indicate that the fiscal year 2014 preliminary CIP is in conformance with Glendale's general plan. The required action of the Planning Commission is to report to the City Council that the fiscal year 2014 preliminary CIP of the fiscal year 2014-2023 preliminary CIP is in conformance with the general plan. A vote is needed to report to Council. Staff suggests the Planning Commission make a proposed motion to move to report to the City Council, indicating the Commission believes that the fiscal year 2014 preliminary CIP of the fiscal year 2014-2023 preliminary CIP is consistent with the general plan. That concludes staff's presentation.
Are there any questions for Mr. Ritz? I will then entertain the motion to approve as presented by Mr. Ritz for CIP 2014 to 2023. I'll need a motion and a second.
So move.
Second.
I have a motion to approve and a second. I'll now call roll. Commissioner Aldama?
Aye.
Commissioner Larson?
Aye.
Commissioner Pinella?
Aye.
Commissioner Lennox?
Aye.
Commissioner Johnston?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Thank you, Mr. Rees. We're now going to move on to the public hearing items. The purpose of the public hearing is to provide interested parties an opportunity to present testimony for the Commission's consideration. We will follow the same procedures for each item. I will call the application number and the name of the applicant. Staff will present their report and answer questions from the Commission. The applicant will then have an opportunity to make a presentation and answer questions from the Commission. Other persons who wish to testify will be asked to do so and answer questions from the Commission. The applicant will have an opportunity for closing comments. Staff will then be asked for final comments on the application and procedural guidance. I will then close the public hearing and ask for a motion prior to discussion. You'll need to state your name and address for the record if you wish to speak on an item. Please be brief, to the point, and avoid repetition. I reserve the right to limit the length of your testimony. All exhibits shown to the Commission become part of the permanent record and must be submitted for the file. Large groups should designate a spokesperson. Applause or other disruptions which delay the hearing cannot be tolerated. We have one public hearing item tonight. This is case CUP 1305. Guy Dreyer, representing Pawn First. Senior Planner Thomas Ritz will present.
Thank you, Chairman, members of the Planning Commission. This is a request for a conditional use permit to allow a pawn shop in the C2 General Commercial District. Pawn shops are permitted in this district only with a conditional use permit. The applicant is Guy Dreyer of Pawn First. The property owner is Bell Tower Plaza, LLC. The required action is the Planning Commission must conduct a public hearing and determine if the request is in the best long-term interest of the neighborhood and consistent with the general plan. Staff recommends the Planning Commission should approve the conditional use permit subject to the stipulations contained in the staff report. In summary, this is a request by Guy Dreyer, owner of Pawn First, for a conditional use of permit approval to open the pawn shop in an existing shopping center at 6394 West Bell Road. The tenant space is located at the far west end of the shopping center and will allow space for the retail business as well as storage for his collateralized loans. That is, merchandise that has been placed for pawn and under state law has been required to be kept before being resold for satisfaction of the pawn. The general plan designation is general commercial. The property is located at the northwest corner of 63rd Avenue and Bell Road, and it's 3.8 acres in size. Looking at recent history of this property, there hasn't been any recent history on the property, and the applicant indicated to staff that the tenant space has been vacated for a period of 5 years. There will be no formal design review, is because the applicant is going into a space that doesn't need modifications. All modifications are addressed in the proposed stipulations. The property has been recently painted and as part of the improvements of the property. The applicant is proposing this pawn shop be only open from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, Saturday 10 to 6, and closed on Sunday. While a pawn business, unlike a second-hand store, can sell guns, the applicant has indicated that he will not be selling guns from this location. All guns that are brought in as pawn and are not collected by the person bringing them in, he takes to his Tempe store and then offers them through sale through that store and online. The shopping center is bounded by a variety of commercial land uses, including self-storage to the north and southwest, commercial to the east and south, and a vacant parcel to the west. All surrounding properties are Zone C2. Because of all the properties surrounding it being Zone C2 and extending out even 500 feet, it's a predominantly commercial area with an apartment complex. Thus, the number of owner-occupied single-family residences is rather minimal, and staff recommended that a citizen participation letter be sent out to these property owners instead of having a neighborhood meeting, because they are primarily business property owners. The applicant did mail this letter out. I did get a phone call from a resident on the citywide interested parties list expressing his opposition to this type of business coming into the community. Yesterday, this same citizen who responded to the applicant's letter responded again with a voicemail message stating his opposition. The property was posted and is in a public hearing in the Glendale Star. Once the property was posted, staff received 2 additional comments of opposition. One from the manager of the self-storage facility to the north. The design of that self-storage facility was almost designed to be integrated in with his shopping center, so it has open doors facing the backside of the shopping center. And the manager of that store was concerned about some of the existing people who are hanging around some of the existing businesses in the shopping center right now, late at night, 2 and 3 in the morning. There's a existing drive-through for the liquor store. There will not be a drive-through with the pawn shop. Staff also received comments and also a letter of opposition from the property owner of the vacant land directly to the west, and the owner and also owns the site of the nursery, which is the next occupied building to the west on Bell Road. And her concerns have been well outlined in the letter that she's presented to you. For any conditional use permit, there are a series of 5 findings that need to be met per the zoning code for the granting of that use permit. Staff feels that each of those 5 findings have been met in this case. And staff also provided this application to other departments for their review. Transportation Department requested a handicap ramp be installed for entrance into the store. The Police Department was contacted on this. I talked to the police officer Gallagher, who handles pawns. He's very familiar with their operation. The police departments from various cities talk to each other. They have definite procedures for pawn, requiring length of being held, requiring a fingerprint, requiring photo ID to pick this up. The police department did not express any concerns with the proposed land use. The applicant has informed me that he has had additional contact with the police department yesterday, and as part of his presentation can discuss those additional comments that the police department has made with him. So the departments are aware of this. They're not expressing any concerns that aren't addressed in the stipulations. And so with that, staff recommends approval subject to the 5 stipulations therein. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Ritz, for an excellent presentation. Commissioners, are there any questions for Mr. Ritz?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Pinella.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ritz, on page 2 of the document that was submitted, the conditional use permit application, there's a discussion about a missing curb that apparently is meant to separate the property owned by the shopping center where the pawn shop would be and the vacant lot. How soon would that missing curb be put in? How soon would a curb be put in there? Would that be before occupancy?
Through the chairman, Commissioner Padilla, yes, all of these stipulations have to be satisfied as far as any building plans for remodel of this vacant store prior to occupancy.
Right. And I want to follow up on the comments you made regarding the Glendale Police Department. On page 5, the remarks about the Glendale Police Department were fairly cursory, so it was difficult for us to know, at least myself, to know exactly what kind of due diligence Glendale Police Department had performed. In your discussions with Officer Gallagher, did you get any background on that, specifically what they did?
Specifically, they monitor pawn in conformance with state law. The departments discuss this amongst themselves. They did not raise any concerns. They certainly felt their due diligence was adequate.
Well, that's my question, though, is what specifically was it besides who did they talk to? You said they talked to other police departments. Do you know which ones?
I do not know which ones they've talked to. That's really their level of comfort with the operation of pawns and with the regulations of pawn stores in general in the state of Arizona.
All right, and on page 4, you indicate in the next to final bullet point in your analysis that pawn shops are similar in nature to second-hand stores. I suppose I have a little bit of difficulty with that because in my understanding, second-hand stores for their transactions don't require fingerprints, physical descriptions, and statutory regular reporting to Sheriff's Department. Is it your understanding just like mine?
Correct, and that's why the police indicated to me that that only a very inexperienced person would attempt to go to a pawn store with ill-gotten merchandise, and that they would go to a secondhand store or other facility that did not require these same regulations of someone attempting to sell merchandise.
Who told you that?
Officer Gallagher.
Okay. Was Officer Gallagher insinuating to you then that there was no correlation between property crimes and pawn shops? He wasn't doing that, was he?
He was not, but in a previous application for a pawn shop a couple of years ago, the police department did examine neighborhoods that had pawn shops and neighborhoods that did not have pawn shops. And this was a neighborhood held up by them at that time as a neighborhood that had an existing high crime rate and had no pawn shop. So they felt that this neighborhood had no pawn shop. Other neighborhoods had equivalent crime rates that had pawn shops.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions?
Chairman, if I may. Thank you, sir. Mr. Ritz, what is the process in approving the letters that go out to the neighbors from the applicant? Just briefly, I know it's probably lengthy, but briefly.
It's our citizen participation plan is a two-step process. We as staff determine here's the notification area, and the notification means that you should have, and then he gives us a citizen participation plan which answers a series of questions in the zoning code of how you're going to do it, as well as a sample of your letter. I approve that, say go ahead and do that. He then sends out the letter. We allow time, several weeks for any responses to come back, and then he has to address, again from the zoning ordinance, a series of questions of, okay, here were specific complaints. How did you address them? If you didn't address them, why didn't you? So it is laid out in the zoning ordinance, the steps in both the citizen participation plan and then the citizen participation final report, which is what is attached to your packet.
Thank you. Thank you. Further, so is it safe to say that there's no criteria that questions the transparency of the information that goes in those packets of the business transactions that occur? So you guys don't really scrutinize that. It's more of that they need to send a certain amount at a certain date and time and respond to them.
Well, there's questions about how are you getting the word out for citizen participation, and then what are you telling people? Are you telling people in your letter enough that they can understand what you're doing and why you're asking for this? And is it a complete letter? And then yes, and then when the final citizen participation plan occurs, did you convey all of the comments that were made to you once you sent these letters out?
Thank you. But further, and my questions are probably going to be more for the applicant, but just so I make note, in the project narrative, there's verbiage on firearms, but there isn't any no note to that in the letter given to the neighbors, which I'm concerned about, because it says that they don't sell firearms, however they purchase them. So that didn't provide transparency in the letter. And so more of my questions will be, sir, to the applicant, but I wanted to get your criteria in proving that. Thank you. No further questions, Chairman.
Commissioner Larson, did you have a question?
Yes, Chairman Patron. Mr. Ritz, under staff findings and analysis on the second bullet, which is on page 4, one of the findings that is required by the city is that it says that the proposed use will not be materially detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare of persons residing or working within the neighborhood of the proposed use or have an adverse effect to the property, adjacent properties, the surrounding neighborhood of the city when consideration is given. I guess for a pawn shop, a lot of times, and I know you mentioned a little bit of that with the last discussion you had, but it seems like a pawn shop often will change the character and have an adverse effect on the property. So what steps did the staff go through in the city to determine that this is not an adverse effect on the neighborhood?
What steps did we? Well, that the pawn shop, through the controls that this applicant has on his pawn operation, were felt to be sufficient. The other controls through Arizona statutes on the operations of pawns. A large part of his, the applicant has indicated to me that a large part of his business is auto title loans, which are permitted by right in this zoning district. The fact that this is a heavily commercial area, the more limited hours of operation that he has than the other tenants in this existing tenants in this shopping center. So, to put, with the conditional use permit, we're looking at a particularly intensive commercial use, and being surrounded by commercial uses, being on the Bell Road corridor, that's where it's sufficient to not have a materially detrimental effect to the area.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions for Mr. Ritz? Commissioner Johnston.
Chairman Patron, thank you. I would just want to follow up on the last question by Commissioner Larson. When we're asked to make decisions regarding the long-term best interest of the community, I have to go back to this issue of what type of even basic market analysis is done to demonstrate whether this is detrimental to property values or whether it actually adds value. I see nothing in here that helps us with that. And we certainly have concerns from property owners.
I don't think we've ever done a market analysis on any conditional use permit application as to what the impact on the property is.
Well, I certainly believe some businesses are unique, and those unique businesses would certainly call for something like this, especially when they're combined with some of the other businesses that are located in that strip mall.
Thank you. I have a question, Mr. Reitz. If there had been any known issues with this applicant, would it have been pretty likely to have surfaced, you think, in the police review? As you say, they talked to one another, and if this was an outfit that had a bad reputation or it had a lot of red flags issued, do you think our Officer Gallagher would have been made aware of that by his research and background check?
Commissioner Patron, yes. I think he was able to distinguish between different pawn shops and their operating procedures and their sophistication.
Yeah. Basically, I think we can accept then what our police department has done as their due diligence in investigating the past history of this person. This company is a member of several different committees, if I'm not mistaken. I think there's 9 locations. I know I visited one. Thank you so much, Mr. Ritz. Are there any other questions for Mr. Ritz? Thank you, sir. Would the applicant or applicant's representative please come forward, state your name for the record, and make your presentation?
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Guy Dreyer. I'm the CEO with Pawn First, located at 6394 West Bell Road in Glendale, Arizona. Pawn First is applying for a CUP to operate a pawn and title loan store at this address. I picked this location for several reasons. The first is that our product is underserviced in the area, not only in pawn, but also in title loans, and there are not any like shops for miles around to service the area. Second, there are only a few homes within a 500-foot radius of this site, which would make our use allowable in most cities. Some of you may also be aware of the pawn loans or purchases through pawn shops So work with me and bear in mind that I know some of you already know this, but I'm going to explain how the pawn transaction works. But when a customer comes in to a legitimate pawn shop in the state of Arizona to do a pawn loan or to sell their items, the first thing they need to have is valid government-issued ID to do the transaction. This transaction gets videotaped, and when the customer signs the pawn ticket, they also need to provide us with a fingerprint on the pawn ticket. Also on the pawn ticket is an area for owner's applied. What owner's applied means is if there's a specific owner's information, such as their business name, their initials, etc., we will enter this in a box on that ticket to help the police department identify these goods in the event that they have been stolen. In Glendale, we will work with reporting software called Leads Online. This product reports pawn or purchase transactions nationwide to police departments and sheriff departments alike to their database across the nation. These items will be cross-referenced within a 24-hour period with police reports having stolen property involved. As you can imagine, we have very little stolen property because if you're a thief and do business with a legitimate pawn shop, there's an extremely high likelihood that you will be caught. If an item does come up stolen, the police will come out, they will confiscate the item from our shop, and we will have to fight for restitution with the customer that sold that item or got a loan. We obviously wouldn't want to take in any stolen goods, as we will chance not only losing the items, but also the cash that we paid for it as well. Local police departments and county sheriff departments audit us almost on a monthly basis to verify that we are in compliance with all the above and more. Pawn First will also be required to pay the City of Glendale a $3 ticket fee per transaction on every loan or transaction that we do. Pawn First will always also pay the customary sales tax, etc., involved with a business such as this. A lot of pawn shops say they're different. I can honestly say we're different. If you look through the pictures that I've provided for you and the letters of recommendation from our neighbors, landlords, and customers, you'll see that our stores are more like a nice retail store and not your ordinary pawn shop. There are things we do at Pawn First that differentiates us from any other pawn shop in the Valley. First thing I tell you is that we are clean, organized, and we're well staffed. Our employees all wear uniforms with name tags and go through formal training programs which teaches them not only our business, but current pawn loans and title loan laws. Our employees don't carry weapons, but instead they are required to carry a panic button in case of emergencies. Pawn First does not sell guns or distasteful items out of the stores, including Tempe. We hold our items for 21 days for the police department to do their job. Most pawn shops beat this rule by getting a second-hand dealer license, and that enables them to sell purchases after only a 10-day period. Pawn First waits the additional 11 days before selling the items to show our commitment to law enforcement and to our community. Pawn First caters to all demographic of valued customers in need. We currently have loans that range from $50 to over $1 million. In today's world, banks are not lending money like they used to. I deal with different types of clients, from business owners trying to make payroll, to real estate professionals waiting for their commission, to a family that's in short cash and can't make a house payment without some help. Our customers are ordinary, everyday people that come from all walks of life, and our services are not really any different than a regular bank other than we have a retail environment. This is why you now find pawn shops in places like North Scottsdale, Gilbert, Beverly Hills, and more affluent areas. Pawn First has VIP rooms for our customers that are looking for private and discreet transactions where they might be uncomfortable using the conventional pawn shop. Pawn First offers multiple lending and purchase options under one roof. We can help our customers with a pawn loan, a title loan, a registration loan, or just purchase their items outright, as we make this easy so they don't have to use Craigslist or other options to sell their items. They can come straight to us and make it, and life's easy. Pawn First also offers a great retail experience. We have families shopping with us on a regular basis trying to save money. When shopping with Pond First, you never know what you'll find in our stores, but you'll find that it's always neat, clean, and organized. We also offer a 5-day money-back guarantee on all items that are sold out of our store. At Pond First, we spend the extra resources to purchase roll shutters instead of bars in our windows to give our buildings a better look and to raise the image of our business and, again, support our community and its image. While many banks have gone to bulletproof glass and barriers between their customers and employees, we continue to give our customers a great experience without the glass, and in 4 years of operation, we've not had any armed robberies or any issues with our customers that would move us to implement this safety precaution. Pond First has built many relationships in our business community and surroundings in 9 locations over the past 4 years of operation. I'm proud to say that I did not have one neighboring business around any of our shops that I went to for a letter of recommendation that would not supply me with a letter stating our strong relationship with them and the community. The following is a list of the businesses that I asked for a reference and received it. College of America, AAA Alliance Self-Storage, Chase Bank, Metro Business Alliance, which we happen to be a part of, Metro Center Mall, Castles and Coasters, Oregano's, Wells Fargo Bank, Red Devil Italian Restaurant, Discount Tire Company, Evo Swim School, Fine Jewelry Repair, and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Although we normally try to purchase the buildings that we occupy because we do substantial upgrades to our facilities, occasionally we do lease our buildings, which is the case with 6394 West Bell Road. I've included for your review references from current landlords with their approval of Pond First and its use. I know there's been a property owner to the west and a manager of the mini store to the north that have opposed this issue. I've reached out to both of these individuals and asked them to come meet with me so that I can show them what we do. I'm sorry to say that I didn't have any luck getting them to accept my offer to explain our business and see our operations up close. I truly believe that if Pond First was evaluated with an open mind, and if they talked with my neighboring businesses and my landlords about the type of neighbors and tenants we have been, they would leave without an objection to our use. I am more than open to work with these neighbors to make sure that by us occupying this space, we do not negatively affect their business, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that we are good neighbors. I stand before you tonight and tell you with confidence that we will be a positive asset to this community, and we will work hard to continue to build confidence with our neighbors and community. We are a locally owned family shop that I take pride in doing the best job possible. I respectfully ask you tonight to not only look at what I tell you we are doing, but look at our track record of what we've done in the past and what I've given to you in the pamphlets. We've been operating for 4 years now, and we've consistently worked on building the Pond image with our actions, not just words. I ask you tonight to grant Pond First a conditional use permit because we meet the requirements and we will be a great addition to the city of Glendale and community. Thank you, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Dreyer. Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Dreyer?
Chairman.
Word from the right.
Sure. Thank you. You list in your presentation to us that you're A-rated with the Better Business Bureau.
Sir, I noticed tonight we were B+, and we had a couple complaints, and I'm not exactly sure why, but when I did that letter, we were an A, is my understanding. I saw it tonight, just to be honest with you, because I was going to put it in my final presentation, and we were B+.
Okay.
Those do go up and down just with when things don't get resolved immediately.
I'm a business owner.
Okay.
But my staff checks everything out before I come to a meeting. And
Okay.
They give me a packet. So.
Yeah, I wasn't hiding it, but at the time, I'm pretty confident it was correct.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, you know, we researched it. There's some polarizing comments. You have some very good comments about your business, and you also have some very negative ones. But that could happen to anybody. You know, I'm going to go back to my major concerns here. You know, as an owner of a financial advisory firm, we would have difficulty advising any of our clients to purchase property anywhere near a facility like this, whether even looking at how nice your pawn shops are, it's the connotation as we did our market research. So, you know, I'm just, you know, and I see your experience with, you know, what you've listed as, you know, businesses around you that have given you positive comments. but I've been in public service for 12 years now, and I always know there's another side to the story. So I very respectfully appreciate what you've given us, but I also know that there's other thoughts on this, and I'm just trying to lay it out there for you.
Thank you. I'll answer any question you might have that would give you a sense of comfort.
Okay.
Commissioners? Commissioner Piniella.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've actually done some due diligence of my own. I've been to one of your stores, been to the one at Metro Center. I've been to the Subject Shopping Center, and I also did some other research. And so in that vein, I've got some questions for you. And
Yes,
I've
sir.
got some questions for you based on your presentation. One of them, my colleague to the right, about your rating with the Better Business Bureau, he already touched on that. And I guess at the time you wrote it,
Yeah, you were. I'm in the business to give the best customer service of any business in town. I can tell you I do my absolute best. I have counter help sometimes that make $10 an hour and they don't make good decisions and things happen, and I rectify it and fix it as fast and quickly as possible. As you can see with your booklets, we're huge in our community. When you walked into Metro Center, I hope that you were greeted, because 90% of the time you are. 10%, 15% of the time it slips through the cracks. I'd like to say we're perfect, we're not, but I can tell you this. I'm active in our business. I'm there longer than any one of my employees, and I work it. And I do my best to make sure we give the best customer service in the business.
well, let me ask you a little bit about your submission here in the project narrative. You indicated that you don't deal in any distasteful items. When someone applies to the city and comes before this commission and they're selling cars or trucks, we know what they're selling.
Right.
In your case, your business is quite different than that, and it's a mix of a lot of different things from what I saw. So therefore, I would like your definition, if you would help the commission and tell us what you consider distasteful, the kind of things that we won't have to worry about seeing there.
I'll tell you, I bring my kids into the shop almost every Saturday. I think when you walked around, I don't think you can tell me that you saw something in there that's going to offend my children. And I don't sell porno. I don't do distasteful things. I'm a licensed general contractor. I'm a licensed real estate agent that came in 4 years ago and said, what am I going to do in this life? Because I can't make money at what I was doing. And I was fortunate enough to find somebody to sell me 4 pawn shops and get some funding to move to the next level of having 9 shops. I don't sell distasteful items, and distasteful items to me would be pornographic material, things that you wouldn't want to bring your children or grandchildren to see, because my children are in there quite frequently, and I expect them to move up with me and to be part of my business moving forward, and I want to be a great example to them. You won't see distasteful items unless something slips through the cracks, but my staff knows better than to take in stuff that doesn't make sense like that.
Would something with a Nazi insignia, the swastika, would that be distasteful in your point of view?
I would guess it could be, yes, sir.
Because I saw such a thing in your shop under the glass yesterday at Metro Center.
Okay, and I guess, like I say, I'm running a business and we take in thousands of items, but when I say distasteful, I mean real distasteful, and things are going to slip through the cracks. There's just not any doubt about it. And I could tell you I do my best, but you probably, if you went through all of our stores, you'd find something else. I do my best to control that. We don't, if it's hardcore distasteful, and maybe that's hardcore distasteful to you, I just don't catch everything, and my staff doesn't catch everything.
Well, I can appreciate the historical significance of a lot of things, but other people might not. And so when you say something is or is not distasteful, that tends to be a very subjective bar, does it not?
I agree.
The other thing is, you made a comment a short time ago about your business not being really different than any bank, and I think that's not quite accurate. Banks don't have fingerprint requirements. They don't have to deal with physical descriptions in their transactions. They don't have statutory 2-day reporting requirements to the sheriff's department. So when you make a presentation, I think it's important to not gild the lily a little too much, if you get my drift.
Yes, sir.
All right. The other thing is, I have a few other questions, and then I'll turn you over to somebody else. But have any of your stores, any and ever, are the operative words in my question? Have any of your stores ever been found in violation of any of the laws governing pawnbrokers pursuant to ARS 44-1621?
You're going to have to help me with 44-1621. I wish I knew it off the top of my head.
Well,
but
44-1621 et sec, or which Latin legal term for on those that follow, is the statutory body that Arizona Revised Statutes that governs pawnbrokers.
Okay, I'm going to try and answer that question to the best of my ability. And I can tell you when I started this business, there were some bumps in the road. And when I started this business, I dealt with some of the worst pawn shops this valley has ever seen and any city has ever seen. When I went through, I'm a licensed general contractor, I'm a licensed real estate agent that didn't come from this business. I terminated everybody that was in that shop because they were all gangsters. They were all not the people that I shouldn't say they're all gangsters. I'm going to try and have a little more respect for them, but they were not the type of employees that I could deal with in my life and the type of culture that I strive to have within my business. They were the kind of guys that would wear shorts that they would not pull up. They were the kind of guys that wouldn't wear a hat other than sideways. And I'm trying to present ourselves with uniforms and with a good image to the public so that I could bring any one of you in, I could bring any of my family in, I could bring anybody from any walk of life and make them feel comfortable in my shops. That being said, I had to start with new staff. I've had some clerical errors at the front counter where as I talked to you guys about these owner-applied issues, didn't get put in correct because there's certain ways you have to list anything and everything that comes in our shop. We have thousands and thousands of different items. These things all have to be described in a specific, certain way. The people that you hire from these other pawn shops, in my opinion, are not with the other pawn shops for a reason. And it's very difficult in this world, even with unemployment at the rate that it is, to find good help. So as I'm moving forward, getting new help into these centers, trying to staff these centers, I had some clerical error in Mesa. I get pretty frustrated with that because I had staff on there, and to be honest with you, there was 5 of them that got done, and their answer to it was they prosecuted me and wanted me to go to jail for 60 days for clerical errors on 5 different violations or something like that was not listed correct now. We have millions of dollars in our business.
Well, what was if I might interrupt, what was the disposition of that?
They dropped it.
But I guess this goes back to there's a license required to be a pawnbroker.
Absolutely. Very difficult license to get, by the way.
And so it's licensed like any professional, so the responsibility falls back on you.
I accept responsibility.
So how long have you been a licensed pawnbroker in Arizona?
4 years.
Okay. Have you had has there been a finding of any violations?
I've had a problem in Mesa, and I had a problem in Metro Center at about the same time. And Metro Center, I just opened up the store, and it was for the same exact thing. I had a manager again that was with had 30 years experience in it, and being in the other businesses that I had been in, I hired a guy that had as much experience as anybody in the valley. He couldn't keep me safe. I replaced him. I got another manager that brought me to the next level. And unfortunately, because they become part of my family, I had to replace him recently about 7 months ago because I got to the point I was starting to have some issues. I didn't have any agencies coming after me, but I'm proactive. And in order to keep on top of this stuff, because it's difficult, it is not easy. And I haven't had any problems for, I'm guessing, 2 years.
Well, have you ever had your pawn license suspended or
for
revoked?
2 days at the Metro?
Pursuant to ARS 14-1628?
For 2 days at the Metro Center location on the instance I was talking about.
Okay. What specifically did that incident involve?
Clerical error to my recollection, again, on pawn tickets.
On a lack of reporting or something like that?
Well, again, you have to report this stuff in a certain way. It's not like you just say you bought a guitar. That has to have a description. It has to. What they do is every month, and we talked a little bit about secondhand dealers earlier. Secondhand dealers aren't audited like we were. We're audited every month. in most of these cities. So the police department comes into my back room. They go through all my stuff trying to find things on these goods, like if it says JB on a guitar someplace and they find a little insignia that says JB on there, that has to be on that owner applied ticket, or guess what? We get written up. So when these guys take in an item, they got to look this thing up, down, backwards, sideways, open it up, make sure that they do not have an owner applied on that product without listing it, because guess what? I will not have a license. And again, I'm dealing with, I am dealing with $10 an hour people a lot, but I have checks and balances in place today that I have not had an issue in, I'm guessing, at least 2 years.
Okay, my last question is, have you ever had an application for a conditional use permit denied anywhere?
I have not. This is the first time I've ever had any opposition whatsoever. I've never been not able to win over everybody with what we do. Again, I like to think that I speak through my actions, not through my words. And I accept responsibility for the issues I've had. I'm not perfect, but I try hard, and I think my track record with what we do with the community and what we do with our business speaks for itself.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman.
Yes, Mr. Dreyer. Public perception of a pawn shop a lot of times is to take advantage of the public. Someone's in need, they sell something for a very undervalued price, and they're not able ever to come back and get it. I've heard different in some of my research, and I wanted to hear from you. When you receive something on loan, what is the percentage of times that someone will actually come back and pay off that loan and receive their product or their item back?
Sure. First of all, I'd like to address the question itself, and I'd tell you that I'm here to help people, not to hurt people. And these people that come in, this is the last resort that they have before they go rob a Circle K, before they've talked to their parents, they've talked to their sisters, they've talked to their friends. They don't have any other option. These people need money. And guess what? I'm the good guy because they're there and we're helping them out. The percentage of them coming back is 75 to 80% of the time. I'm a loan business. I have loans right now that are 90 days past the due period because I'm taking care of my customers. The first day out, I don't go out and take their stuff. I told you guys earlier I had $1 million loan in my store. It's over $1 million. This gal was 60 days late. She's an 80-year-old woman. 60 days late, and she has a value in my shop of about $2.5 million. I didn't take her stuff. I didn't take her stuff because I'm in this for the long haul, and I'm in this to help people, not hurt people. She's paying a lot of money to be with me. I'm not going to lie, but at the end of the day, she's got nowhere else to go. Her kids have her in litigation and with her trust, and she is in trouble without me. Nobody else is going to lend her that money. And she is tickled pink to have me in her life, is all I can tell you. And I've taken care of that lady, and I take care of all my customers. There comes a time, though, we have to take this stuff. We have to put it on the floor. Some people, you have to understand, some people come in just to beat us, too. We get beat all the time because we have to be better than the customer, because guess where all the stuff goes that doesn't work, where they try to take it? It comes to us. But 75 to 80% of the time, they come back and they pick up their stuff, and they're very happy to help us, that we're helping them out because they don't have any other options. And they're treated with respect and dignity. They're not treated like, and they're people like you and I. What if I wouldn't have gotten this business going and the few things had taken a turn? I could have been in the same position of needing a pawn shop. There are people out there that need pawn shops today. This isn't just because I want to open a shop and make tons of money. I'm in it to make money. Don't get me wrong. But we are not predatory lenders. The people that come into our centers are just like you and I, no different. They just had a road of bad luck, and this is their last resort.
Thank you.
Commissioner Aldama.
Chairman, thank you, sir. Mr. Dreyer, I feel that you're a little frustrated, but I want you to know that no one's opposing you yet. Each of these commissioners have to ask the right questions as we represent all of our respective districts. And we have to make sure that we're making the right decisions for our citizens. Each and every one of us here have important questions, so bear with us, okay? Just
Can I apologize? Because you know what? I'm so passionate about my business, I'm not even the slightest bit upset. I am passionate about my business, sir. So I'm sorry if I come off that way, because I have to tell myself to
That's good.
Level out that I'm just passionate about my business.
Compassion is good. To my questions, thank you very much. Mr. Dreyer, I am a proud firearms owner, and I frequent pawn shops. I like pawn shops. And I want to clarify with you first one thing. Glendale, here locally, we do have good pawn shops that run good businesses that do right for our citizens. So your comments that you're unique, I understand, but there are really good pawn shops in Glendale, and we want the best of the best if they're going to do business here. I am concerned, though, with those comments said, I'm concerned because I must ensure that we're providing transparency to our citizens 100%. And I'm concerned because in the narrative, it has wording in regard to firearms, but into the letter that you sent out does not. And if I missed it, I apologize, but I went over it and I did not see it. Here in the narrative, you say that you do not purchase firearms. However, you take them in. You don't buy, you don't sell them, but you purchase them. And you say you don't sell them in any of your stores. However, you say here they're taken to another location to be sold. So clarify for us, you do sell them out of the stores or you do not?
We do not sell them in any of our stores. What we do is we take them to our Tempe location. I have full-time guys that list items on Auction Arms. If you go to our website, you can go to a link on there to Auction Arms. Every firearm that we have is on Auction Arms for sale. I don't mess with firearms because there's a lot of issues. One, robberies. With firearms, with people coming in your store and wanting your firearms. So I have vaults in every one of my stores that once we get them, we lock them up and keep them in there tight. I'm a fan of firearms, sir, but I sell them strictly online in our Tempe store.
So my suggestion for you the next time, because of transparency, that you add that verbiage in here that you may not be selling them, but you are purchasing them, because now you may have had more opposition to your application should you have put that, and I want to make sure that there's transparency. With that said, I do want to commend you for your community involvement in the book here. I really do want to commend you that, because me personally, I like companies who come in, businesses who come in and who provide community engagement. So I commend you for that. I want to go into some of the items, the tasteful items you might sell. You do sell jewelry.
Absolutely.
You sell electronics.
Absolutely.
You sell video games for children?
Yes, sir.
Teenagers?
Yes, sir.
Video games. So you may have items that come in that are distasteful, but you also sell quite a bit of items that I would purchase. I frequent them and make various purchases. So I want to make sure that we're equal here. You do sell quite a bit of items that are wanted by families. And I just want to say that I do support pawn shops. I just want to make sure that they have the citizens' best interest, and is why you have so much questions coming to you right now.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dreyer, I want you to know I visited one of your stores with my wife, who'd never been in a pawn shop before. She was very pleasantly surprised. Your staff was exceptional.
Thank you.
The store was spotless. My family's been in the construction business for over 100 years. Know a lot of guys in the trades have been very, very good friends of mine, and they are good people. And when layoffs come, they still got to feed their families. They got to pay rent. Kids got to go to the dentist. They can't take their compressor, their generator, or their set of tools. They can't take it to the bank I do business with because they're not set up to do it. They can go see you, get it. You'll determine a value, a fair value. They'll pay a certain ongoing price until they're ready to get it back out and go back to work. Isn't that about right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I fronted my guys' money to do that. And one guy, I think he said he's had his tools in hock. I don't know how many times he said he did. I know I bought them out a few times. But this works, and it is a service, and you are right. And I want everybody here to know that these are good people having hard times. They can't go to the bank. I also spent half a day at the proposed center where this is going. I visited Dr. Gage, the chiropractor, and he's been there 28 years. I visited the folks that own the spa shop, the spas, and they've been there 16 years. They have no objection. They want their center busy. They want it full. I think one of them said, a rising tide lifts everybody's boat. I talked to the guy at Pat's. I've known that place I've lived in that area for 25 years. 35 years. I I traded in that center forever when there used to be a Simpsons Irrigation Center there. I traded at the nursery not far from where you are. These are good businesses. These are great people. And you know the only thing they want? They want a good tenant. They want somebody they can rely upon, someone that's a good neighbor. The guy at Pat said, you know, we have he didn't use this term, but he expressed to me there's a symbiosis between what you do, what he does. He says, you know, I can't tell you how many times I can't help a guy. He needs $600 or $800 worth of engine work. He doesn't have the money. And he says, you know, I'm not a bank and I can't afford to. He said, you know what? I could send him to that building. That guy could get a title loan. I can fix his car. He can get back to work. He can pay the guy back. I've sold some engine work. We kept some things going. We kept a guy working. We got the guy across the parking lot from us from business, and I got some business. He said, I think it's a good deal for me. So he said, I'm thinking it's going to work out pretty well. Right. So a couple of the other people there said, well, worried about parking. What about parking over there? I said, well, I don't think this is going to be like Macy's. I don't think he's going to have a rush on Friday because he had a sale. He's going to have intermittent traffic that goes into the store, people buying or doing business or transacting. I was most favorably impressed with your store. I was also very favorably impressed with the attitude of the other tenants in the center. And again, they're just looking for a good guy. They just want a good business. And that place has been empty for 5 years. Nobody can tell me that an empty bill, something left empty for 5 years, is better off than something that's been rented for 5 years. I'll never believe it. I think you have an excellent business. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate what you said. This is a good commission. They've asked some pointed questions and put you on the spot. I thought you handled them very, very well.
Thank you.
I appreciate everything you said. Are there any other questions from any of the other commissioners?
I just had one other follow-up.
Commissioner
please.
Johnston.
Who does the appraisals in your stores?
Our everybody.
Everybody does? The $10 an hour employee
I
does?
get the calls on $5,000 and more. And
Okay. So anything under 5,000, then any employee can
I have a high-end guy that I would call that handles those calls, and anything over 500 he takes. Anything under 500 our staff is competent to take care of.
And how do they base those? What do they base those appraisals upon? Do they have training?
We
Is
do
there a book
the
that they go by.
I mean, I think there's been some talk about what we loan on, and we loan on anything of value. So I've always been with that model because, let's face it, the gold market, we just don't know how long it's going to be around, and I'd like to stay in business. And so I do anything that we can value, that makes sense. And so with that, we have to know how to value a lot of different stuff because we get crazy stuff in, and I think you guys probably all watched the Pawn Show at some point or other. They're a little bit make-believe kind of stuff, but it is a little bit true because you have to value that. We do it through eBay. We do it through partnerships that we have with different experts that know about different items that we've built relationships over the last 4 years. There's multiple ways, but I have some guys that are very, very talented that know a lot about everything. And as you get into this business, you get to know a lot of the things, what they're worth and what we can sell them for. And we will loan up to 80, 90%, in some cases 100% on items if it's a good customer. It's, with all due respect on the banking comparison, but it is like a bank a little bit in the way that when you get good customer history with us and you come in and you pay your bill every time, our business is to loan money and make money on the interest rate that we charge a customer for that loan. So the more money I loan them, the more money we make. So if you get a good customer that pays, comes back, and then like the tools we were talking about, they bring them back in. So I know that they're going to come back and pick them up because they need them. And so if they need a little more money, I'm willing to help them once they get that credit rating up with us. So our staff is pretty, we're trained. Like I said, we have a great training program that teaches these guys that they spend almost a week with a trainer. That's all he does is train our staff when they come on.
And how is your interest rate determined?
It's state mandated. It's the same for everybody.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thanks, Mr. Dreyer.
Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you very much. I have a speaker card, and I know we had a letter from Ms. Kazan. Would Lisa Kazan please come forward and state your name and address?
My address? Oh, my name is Lisa Kazan. I represent Jewel Investment Company. Our address is 2415 East Camelback Road, Suite 700, Phoenix, Arizona. I own the 7 acres directly to the west of the proposed Pawn First location. My family has owned that property for almost 40 years. Directly to the west, about the first 3.5 acres is vacant land, and the balance is Summer Winds Garden Centers. We've continually had a nursery operating there since about 1975, bringing both sales tax revenue and rental tax revenue to the city of Glendale. We were there before Arrowhead Mall or all the big power centers were there. It was just like the little Tip Top Nurseries was there and the barn was next to it. So we've been a big supporter of the city of Glendale for many years. You've read my letter, I'm sure, so you know the reasons I'm really opposed to a pawn shop. I think it really has a negative connotation, and I feel like it brings the neighborhood down, just like a used furniture store would also. I'm just so fearful that that neighborhood is going to become like East Bell Road, you know, where you go down to about 30th Street, and every other building is a used furniture, a used this, used cars. It's just like a mumbo-jumbo of old, used, run-down stuff. I have the last 7-acre parcel along Bell Road. We've never developed the vacant portion, and mainly because Summer Winds has had a lease. The lease was a 35-year lease. So we've had them for many years. They've been a wonderful tenant to my family, and in no way would I ever chase them away. But the other property doesn't have a curb cut or a median cut onto Bell Road coming from, if you're coming from the west. And therefore, I've never really taken an active interest in selling the property because, you know, eventually it would be in a redevelopment property and we could develop the whole 7 acres. Now, I'm not going to go through because you've already read my letter, but one of the things that I did want to bring to your attention was I got this required findings for conditional use permits that was in the package. And it lists 5 items that you should, that are required to meet getting a conditional use permit. And I am just a layman. I'm no expert at any of this, so you have to excuse me for the way I think or do things. But first of all, number B says that the proposed use will not be materially, I can't even talk, detrimental to the health, safety, or general welfare of persons residing or working within the neighborhood of the proposed use, or have an adverse effect on the property or adjacent properties. I think a pawn shop will definitely have an adverse effect on my property. The very sight of a pawn shop has a negative connotation. Now we go down to number C. It says that the proposed site is adequate in size and shape to accommodate the intended use. Well, I kind of question that, you know, that the size and shape. I have been to, by the way, a Pond First location. I have visited it. I didn't take a tour with somebody, but I did visit as you did. There's big signs outside that say we loan on everything, on anything. Well, when I look at that location, I think to myself, anything. They have all sorts of different kinds of stuff, like you were saying. It could be anything. It could be a vehicle. It could be a boat, a trailer, a canoe. You know, you name it. It could be an ATV. Well, in this particular location, I don't understand how and where they will bring their stuff in unless it comes right through the front door. First of all, if you go around the back of that place, you can barely squeeze your car through because of the tight drive between the back of that retail center and the storage facility behind it. So if you go back there, you're like running a gauntlet back there with people standing, stuff loading, cars parked. It's like a disaster back there. So people can't really come in the back. You know, there's a narrow drive between my property and this building, and, you know, there's no entrance or anything there. So I don't know if, you know, and if you stop there to unload stuff, you're going to be blocking the drive to get access around the building. And, you know, what are you going to do? Are they going to store stuff out front? Are you going to have junk sitting out front in the parking lot like a used junk store? And then down to number D, it says the proposed site has adequate access to public streets and goes on to talk about on-site circulation. Well, I kind of question that because there is no curb cut right by this store. This used to be a Washburn piano store. That's what it was for the last zillion years. And they were a very low volume type of business. They didn't have very many people coming and going. A pawn store is going to have people coming and going all the time. And those people, when they come in, they're going to have to go to that curb cut if they're coming from the east that's about halfway in the shopping center, and then maneuver around that auto repair thing that sits out in the middle of the parking lot to get over to the pawn shop. So you can either squeeze through at the front or squeeze through at the back, but there isn't an even flow because this pawn shop location was never really a part of the shopping center till they recently purchased it. It was always separate. So I think it has, and if you want to go to the east, if you want to leave that property and go to the east, you have to go all the way from the pawn shop being at one end, all the way through the shopping center down to the street, and then come out at the light, because that's the only way to get out if you're coming the other way. So I think that it doesn't really have great access and great circulation, and you know, the only way to get in and out, unless what we've had before done is they come in through the median cut into the nursery property, and I bermed up my vacant property 1,000,000 times, and they come through the nursery and then just over the vacant lot, jump the curb, and they're right in. So that's another way for them to get in. So needless to say, I am not in favor of a pawn shop being next door. I have a multi-million-dollar investment as the owner of 7.5 acres of vacant property. Pawn First is a proposed tenant for a small 1/2 acre property. We've been a good neighbor and abided by all the City of Glendale rules and regulations for almost 40 years. And my vacant parcel, along with the nursery parcel, has the potential someday to bring new development to the City of Glendale. I have the potential to bring, I work with a lot of the commercial real estate brokers, and I have the potential to bring, you know, a really great tenant to the City of Glendale to bring new revenue in as a redevelopment someday. And I think having a pawn shop next door would definitely not enhance my opportunity to bring somebody new to the area. So I respectfully ask that you deny this request.
Thank you, Ms. Kazan. Are there any questions? I think Commissioner Piniella.
Yes. Good evening, ma'am. I received and reviewed your letter to the Commission dated May 10 of 2013. And I know you've been here throughout the duration of this proceeding, so you're aware of the fact that I asked Mr. Dreyer a number of pointed questions. But I've got one for you.
Okay.
In your letter, you raise the issue of, you know, the clientele. That's sort of a sensitive subject, but because you have come here with this, I'll go there. And my question is this. In the existing and subject shopping center that I've been to, I noted that there is a liquor store, a tattoo parlor, a tanning salon, a weapons dealer, and I believe there's also a bar there. Am I right about that?
I think so.
Okay. So my question is to you, how then would the clientele of Mr. Dreyer's business have a much different effect on your property than the clientele for those businesses that are there now?
Well, first of all, when you're at my property, because the original configuration of the shopping center was an L shape, the retail across the back and where that auto repair is comes kind of out because it kind of blocks. You really can't, if you're standing on my property, you really can't see what's beyond the auto repair because it blocks it. It was L-shaped. The auto repair building stands like in the middle of the parking lot, so it kind of blocks it. So really, when you're standing at my property, the only real things that you can really see is that one end use. And also, okay, when you talk about the clientele, you know, they're not, you know, when you got a pawn shop, normal people, average people, let's put it that way, average people go to a tattoo parlor in this day and age, whether you like it or, you know, whatever age group you're in. I mean, some people are more pro or cons to a tattoo parlor, but tattoo parlors, liquor stores, all these things people, middle-class people use. When you talk about a pawn shop, it has the appearance of people in distress, people who are desperate, and you know, and it preys on people who are desperate. These you know, they're coming in. It just shows a decline in the neighborhood. A tattoo shop, a liquor store, those aren't in declining neighborhoods. A pawn shop is, a used furniture store is.
I take it then you're basing this on your personal observations?
Yes.
Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I have just a question. Are you aware of the Goodwill store that we approved that opened just down the street from you? Did you feel they brought the neighborhood down? Did you really think that was a detriment or a bad sign for the neighborhood?
It's not right next door to me.
Okay, thank you.
Chairman,
Any
if I may.
questions? Mr. Aldama.
Yes, sir.
Oh, Ms. Kazan, I think Mr. Aldama had a question for you. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry.
Well, first of all, ma'am, your case speaks volumes, and I appreciate you being here today.
Thank you.
Ma'am, I'm wearing a coat and tie today. I normally don't. If I walked into the pawn shop today, would you think different of me, ma'am?
If you walked in, no, I don't think it has to do with how people are dressed or whatever. I think it's the availability. I think when you start seeing those loan places, the car loan, title loan things, you know, when you start seeing all these one by one accumulating in a neighborhood, to me, it shows the neighborhood is going downhill.
Ma'am, thank you. You're a very successful business woman.
Thank you.
I can appreciate that. Not everybody is as fortunate as you. It's a very difficult time to be a citizen in the United States right now with our economy. It's just, we've fallen flat. Many people need help. This gentleman's business provides that help. I will say that there are individuals out there that may not be doing the right thing in pawn shops, not just this gentleman's pawn shop. But there are many citizens out there, not only of Glendale, but in this entire United States who need help. Not every one of us is successful as you are. And we appreciate you being that successful.
And my family likes to help people too.
But
we're very charitable.
I just want you to recognize that there are people in your vicinity there that need help. And this pawn shop could do that. They're providing $3 for each ticket to the city of Glendale, revenue by taxes. I think it's a good thing. 73 notifications went out to property owners, and 1 or 2 come back. So if you'll recognize that many of those didn't oppose it, I did talk about the transparency, and I believe Mr. Dreyer realizes that now, and hopefully he'll take note and provide that transparency later. Your property's been there for over 40 years and still vacant. Do you have plans on developing that anytime soon?
I don't have any exact plans, no.
Okay, so your property doesn't really provide anything, with all due respect, an eyesore because it's an empty field, but the nursery does provide a really nice curb appeal to the city. Have you had an opportunity to view the packet that Mr. Dreyer has?
Yes.
Take a look at the before and after pictures. He's going to bring that to that local area. I just recommend you, and hopefully you can maybe meet with Mr. Dreyer and have some dialogue with him on and extend that olive branch and see what concerns you have. And I'm sure Mr. Dreyer will try to meet those. I can't guarantee that, but he may work with you. I appreciate you, and I thank you for coming out today, and your case does speak volumes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Aldama.
Yes,
Any
sir.
other questions for Ms. Kazan from the commissioners? Thank you so much, Ms. Kazan. Thank you very much. Time was appreciated. Are there any other members here? Anybody else that wants to speak on this tonight? Okay. Would the applicant or the applicant's representative like to make any closing remarks? Mr. Dreyer? Well, we're here to listen to what you have to say. We want this matter to be heard, and we want everybody to get a fair hearing. And if you feel you have a rebuttal, we would like to hear it. Absolutely.
Thank
You go right
Appreciate
ahead,
it.
sir.
I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate your concerns. I do take them seriously. I think Pawn has a little bit of a stigma with it that we're trying to change. The first commercial I did is, at Pawn First, we're changing the way you think about pawn shops, and we're really trying to do that. The first thing I'd say that you had a concern on, Lisa, was the outside storage. I have locations that have outside storage available. We don't have outside storage available at this location, so we wouldn't be able to do big items at this location. We would be able to do quads and ATVs because we can bring those through the doors and that kind of stuff. We do that at most all of our shops. But I won't have those big items, the boats and what have you, because we can't store them. So that won't be an issue. The junk out front, I'd say, again, judge me by my actions. We don't have junk out front. We're an upstanding organization that takes pride in the way our buildings and facilities look. Lisa, that just won't happen, and I will promise you that that would never happen in any of our facilities where we leave junk outside of our properties. The traffic, we're not a Walmart. We don't have early bird specials. We don't have these rushes that come in and come out of our business. We have trickle in, trickle out business all day long. Sometimes we're busier than others, but we're not usually to a point where our parking lots are just jam-packed. We have our Mesa location has 16 parking stalls, and we've done okay with that. We have almost double at this location, plus the parking on the other side of the building. So our parking is really perfect at this location for us. It really provides plenty. We've agreed with the curb cut and what have you. We've agreed to do everything that has been asked of us as far as we're going to redo the paving. We're going to put planters in the parking lot. We're going to put that curb cut along the two properties and try and, we're going to dress the place up. We've done it at every shop that we've opened up. I'm not going to do anything different on this one. It'd be the same on this one. As far as being a leasehold and not a purchase, I pushed hard to try and buy this. I dealt with the elderly lady that her email was gottagettough@aol.com. Let me tell you, I couldn't get it bought. It's a leasehold. But our track record, again, would tell you that we're going to take care of the leasehold as it's our own. We have a long-term lease, 30-plus year lease, and we will put the resources into this building and into this project the same as we have our others. If you guys see the Gilbert location, the location almost is identical to that one square footage-wise. They're within a few hundred square feet, and the layout is so similar. It was very easy to design it because it's almost the same thing. Lastly, I'd say we provide a needy service. I want to take care of my customers. I don't want to steal. I don't want to be predatory. I don't want to be the guy that's out there to take advantage of people. I would like to think we help these people. I want to sleep at night. It's not a perfect world. We don't do best by our customers every time, but we try. If there's any other questions you have for me, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Mr. Dreyer. Ms. Perry, are there any final comments or procedural guidance you can offer?
Chairperson, there are none.
The public hearing for case number CUP 1305 is now closed. Commissioners, I'll now entertain a motion to approve CUP 1305.
Chairman.
You may frame that motion in full approval and acceptance of all stipulations as recommended by staff, or you may frame it in approval with exceptions or exemptions that may have been discussed. Once it's been seconded, we will vote on that motion. May I have a motion to approve?
Chairman, I motion to approve as presented case CUP 13-05.
Commissioner Aldama has made a motion to approve as presented. Do I hear a second?
Second.
It's been seconded. We'll now call a roll. Commissioner Aldama.
Aye.
Commissioner Larson.
Aye.
Commissioner Panilla.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennox.
Aye.
Commissioner Johnston.
No.
Chair votes aye. Case CUP 1305 has been recommended for approval, subject to stipulations by staff. Ms. Robertson, what are the next steps in the process?
Chairman and members of the Commission, your decision tonight is final unless an appeal in writing is filed within 15 days of tonight's meeting with the Planning Department.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. Ms. Perry, are there any planning staff reports?
Chairperson Patron, there are none.
Commissioners, are there any comments and suggestions? Because there are none and there's no other further business from the floor, I'll entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned.
Well, I've done a lot of aerobatics in different planes, and I can tell you it's a whole lot more landings with this, but the takeoffs are a lot quicker. That was great, man. Kind of reminds me of driving down Grand Avenue at Rush.
Graphic novels have always been a hit with teen and young readers. But did you know that your Glendale Public Library has graphic novels for adults as well? Hi, I'm Michael Schmitz, your library insider. The graphic novel is a book presented in comic book-like frames. Their pictorial content adds a whole new dimension to the reading experience. Reading a graphic novel is truly different. Artists and writers have been creating adult graphic novels for quite some time. And more recently, mainstream adult writers like Janet Ivanovich and Diana Gabaldon have collaborated with illustrators to create graphic novels for their fans. So the next time you visit the Glendale Public Library, don't leave without checking out one of these.
The Glendale Libraries have what it takes to prevent summer boredom. I'm Polly Straub, your library insider. Dig Into Reading is this year's theme for the Children's Summer Reading Program. Special events are held at all 3 libraries and include magicians, puppet shows, even a singing cowboy and his horse. For teens, there's a reading incentive program called Beneath the Surface. Teen activities range from hands-on art projects to a teen-only after-hours program. And this year, we're introducing Groundbreaking Reads, an incentive program just for grown-ups. Early registration begins May 1st. Patrons will register and keep track of all reading programs online. The programs run from May 30th to July 27th. To register, visit our webpage at glendaleaz.com/library or stop by one of your Glendale Public Libraries.
Hi, I'm Chris Gallagher, and I'm coming to you today from the Foothills Recreation Aquatic Center, and right behind me is the Foothills Aquatics Pool. We're located here at 5600 West Union Hills Drive, and then we have another aquatic facility, and that's at the Rose Lane Aquatic Center, which is located at 51st Avenue in Marlette, which is about a half a mile north of Bethany Home Road. I want to talk to you today about water safety. It's starting to heat up outside, and we want you to be cognizant of things to learn this summer. And the ABCs of water safety include A, adult supervision. Make sure you watch your children around water. B, create barriers. Make sure that if you have a pool in your backyard, you've got a barrier around that pool, a fence around that pool. And most importantly, C stands for classes. If you're a parent make sure you learn CPR or CCC, which stands for Continuous Chest Compression classes. And most of all, teach your children how to swim. Get them involved in swim lessons. Beginning in early May, we are going to start taking registration for any one of our swim lesson classes here in Glendale. All of our aquatic information is located in our splash book, which you can find at any one of our recreation centers, including the Foothills Recreation Aquatic Center, the Adult Center, which is now the main Parks and Recreation office, and also at any of our 3 libraries. You can also go online by visiting our website at www.glendaleaz.com/parks and recreation. And on a final note, we want to invite you all out to the 2 aquatic centers we have here in Glendale. Beginning June 1st through the very early part of August, you can bring your families out and you can swim in these beautiful aquatic facilities that we have here in Glendale.
Today and tomorrow we're hosting the Glendale Folk and Heritage Festival. It's the 5th annual festival. Well, we have a number of stages with live music, all different kinds, variety, polka, old time, country, bluegrass. We also have a number of workshops going on and then just some impromptu jam sessions.
How I wanna be in that number when the saints go marching in.
We're really trying to share the heritage of our nation, our state, our community, but also share the wonderful assets that we have around here and just have a really great, free, good time for people.
Hosting the colors today are the Buffalo Soldiers of the Arizona Territory, ladies and gentlemen of the regiment.
The Buffalo Soldiers were fighting men. They started in the Civil War. They didn't know what they had in the military until they sent them out on a tour of no return.
Any event that we have in Glendale does multiple things. One is it instills a sense of pride with our citizens. It allows opportunities for our businesses, for vendors. It brings a lot of goodwill, good feelings, great memories. You know, Glendale's a great place to live. It's a great place to be. A wonderful place to open up a business, to bring your family to and live. Our historian Marshall Trimble is performing right now, and what a unique guy. He's got an awful lot of history and a lot of stories and some real fun stories.
I grew up a-dreaming of being a cowboy and loving a cowboy's ways, pursuing the lives of my high-riding heroes. I burned up my childhood days.
But if you're telling a story about the people involved and the kinds of people, especially if they're things that you can relate to.
The biggest icon of them all was the cowboy, sometimes likened in the movies to the gunfighters, but there was quite a difference between the two.
You got your Glendale Saguaro Folk Festival. Lots of friends, lots of people, they all love it here. They got a lot of folk music, all kind of different folk music at the Glendale Saguaro Folk Festival.
Hello and welcome to the Glendale City Council meeting. As a courtesy to others, please silence all phones. The citizens of Glendale are represented by a 7-member council. Mayor Jerry Wires, Vice Mayor Yvonne Kanak of the Beryl District, Councilmember Manny Martinez of the Cholla District, Councilmember Norma Alvarez of the Ocotillo District, Councilmember Samuel Chavira of the Yucca District, Councilmember Ian Hugh of the Cactus District, and Councilmember Gary Sherwood of the Saguaro District. Agendas, speaker cards, and printed guidelines for citizen comments are located on a table at the back of the room. If you would like to address the council on a matter which is on the agenda for this meeting, please complete a gold speaker card. If you would like to address the council on a matter which is not on the agenda for this meeting, please complete a blue speaker card. After you have completed the speaker cards, please give them to the city clerk. The speaker's name will then be called at the appropriate time. Please refer to the printed guidelines for citizen comments. These guidelines have been approved by the council and will be followed in receiving comments. Comments will be limited to 5 minutes in length. Thank you for your interest and your participation in the City of Glendale.
Good evening and welcome to Glendale City Council meeting of May 14th, 2013. We appreciate your attendance and welcome your participation. This meeting is called to order. If everyone would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, and after the pledge, please remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first item of business this evening is the consideration of our minutes of April 23rd, 2013 regular meeting. Council members, do you have any corrections or additions to those minutes? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Mayor, move to approve the minutes of April 23rd, 2013.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Martinez and a second from Vice Mayor Knack. A motion to approve the minutes with the added corrections when we didn't have any. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, please say nay. Here, you guys have it, do have it, so ordered. The motion does carry. Moving on, I will ask that the city employee Christina Betts, Glenn Jones, and Mark Fortkamp please join me at the podium for a presentation. And we have a best way to do it, have you face the council?
No.
You like that this time? Thank you. Good evening. Oh, you read that one. I don't want to read that one. There we go. Okay. Okay, we have a proclamation, and I'll read this. It's got a lot of whereas and all these fancy words in it. Whereas the City of Glendale Public Works Group provides a wide variety of services essential to our citizens' everyday lives, such as street maintenance, graffiti removal, sanitation collection and disposal, transportation and city roadway systems, water and sewer service facilities, and flood control. And whereas the health, safety, and comfort of our community greatly depends on these services and facilities, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skills of public works personnel, and whereas public works personnel are among the first responders during emergencies and disasters, often working above and beyond the call of duty to maintain or restore needed services, and then working long after other first responders have departed the scene in order to ensure that cleanup efforts are completed. And whereas recognition of National Public Works Week enhances public awareness of the essential services and the employees who provide them. Now, therefore, I, Jerry P. Wires, Mayor of Glendale, Arizona, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim May 19th through May 25th, 2013 as National Public Works Week, in appreciation of our Public Works Group and those persons throughout the country who are involved with public works. Signed by me and our City Clerk, Pamela Han.
Thank you, Mayor and members of the Council. Good evening. My name is Christina Betts, Acting Deputy Director of Public Works. Joining me this evening are Glenn Jones with Transportation Services and Mark Fortkamp with Water Services. It is our privilege to accept this proclamation on behalf of all the dedicated employees here at the City of Glendale who work to ensure the safety and quality of life of residents and visitors by providing and maintaining the infrastructure and services collectively known as public works. This proclamation seeks to raise the public's awareness of the contributions which public works employees make in the community. Along with many other communities across our nation, as the mayor mentioned, it also observes May 19th through May 25th, 2013 as National Public Works Week in the City of Glendale. The American Public Works Association has chosen the theme for this year's celebration to be Because of Public Works. And because of public works, the City of Glendale is able to provide its citizens a variety of programs and services such as street maintenance and design, equipment and facility maintenance, environmental services, right-of-way beautification, graffiti removal, land development and flood control, transit, bicycle facilities, street lighting and traffic operations, solid waste services, and lastly, water and wastewater services. These services are consistently delivered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and in addition to their normal job duties, employees in these fields become first responders during emergencies and natural disasters and work to quickly restore and maintain needed city services. Thank you again, Mayor and Council, for honoring the professional men and women who provide public works services every day in our community by observing National Public Works Week in the City of Glendale.
Okay, we will now move to our consent agenda items. Items on the consent agenda are of routine nature or have been previously studied by City Council at a work session. They're intended to be acted upon in one motion by the Council unless the Council wishes to hear any items separately, and we'll take off those on public comment on those if there are any requests to speak. Seeing none, Mr. Bowers, can you please read the 5 items on the consent agenda by number and title?
Yes, Mayor and members of the Council. The first item on consent agenda is special event liquor license for Glendale Civic Pride Ambassadors Foundation. The second item is special event liquor license Our Lady of the Valley Catholic Church. The third consent item is liquor license number 5-9847, Gino's Market. The fourth item is liquor license number 5-9848, Rose Lane Market. And the fifth item is liquor license number 5-9984, Palmero's Pizza.
Okay, very good. Council members, are there any of those items you'd like to hear separately?
No.
Seeing none. We do have one that I wish,
No,
believe.
not yet. Having the resolutions.
Not yet, okay.
No. I'll make a motion to pass consent items 1 through 5.
Second.
I'll second.
Okay, well, you got ahead of me here. Okay, and
Well,
I want to back up. Yeah, I want to back up. We're going to vote this and then come back with
Yes.
the person that wants to speak.
No, he's on the second, on the resolution,
Okay.
second part.
Okay, is there, we already have a motion. Motion was from Vice Mayor Knack and seconded by?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councilmember Martinez. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, please say nay. Here's your ayes have it, do have it, so ordered, motion carries. And we go to Ms. Hannah. Can you please read the 9 consent resolutions by number and title?
Resolution number 4669, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing, directing the entering into of a memorandum of understanding between Immigration and Customs Enforcement and local, county, or state law enforcement agency for the reimbursement of joint operations expenses from the Treasury Forfeiture Fund. Resolution number 4670, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the acceptance of a high-intensity drug trafficking area HIDTA grant agreement from the City of Tucson to provide overtime funding in the approximate amount of $19,200 for Arizona Warrant Apprehension Network and Tactical Enforcement Detail, AZ Wanted, by the Glendale Police Department. Resolution number 4671, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the submission and acceptance of awarded of grant applications from the Governor's Office of Highway Safety and the Oversight Council on driving or operating under the influence abatement on behalf of the Glendale Police Department. Resolution number 4672, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the entering into and accepting a grant offer from the Arizona Department of Transportation for airport improvements of the Glendale Municipal Airport. Resolution 4673, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the entering into and accepting a grant offer from the Arizona Department of Transportation for airport improvements of the Glendale Municipal Airport. Resolution number 4674, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a contract change order with the City of Phoenix for pass-through grant funding for transit services. Resolution number 4675, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of an amendment number 5 to the RPTA Proposition 400 intergovernmental agreement with the Valley Metro Regional Public Transportation Authority, RPTA, for the provision of public transportation services. Resolution number 4676, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of a contract change order number 6 to the intergovernmental agreement with the City of Phoenix for the operation of fixed route bus services in the City of Glendale. Resolution number 4677, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing and directing the entering into of 4 intergovernmental agreements with the City of Phoenix for acceptance of pass-through grant funding for transit services.
Okay. There's a lot to say, huh? Very good. Council members, would you like to hear any of these consent resolutions separately? Seeing none, Vice Mayor Knack, is there anyone that wishes to speak on any of these items?
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Kyle Straight, number 7.
If you would state your name and the city that you live in, sir.
Name's Kyle Straight. I live in the city of Glendale in the
Barrel.
Thank you, Barrel District.
Okay, we don't need your address, sir.
I wanted to just say, because I noticed on the agenda that they were trying to get extra money, I guess, as far as I can tell, to help increase it. And so I just wanted to mention that I am grateful that you guys are trying to do your best to try to help clean up the city and try to make it better. So I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for trying to do your best to help clean up the city. So thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Any other cards? Okay. Is there a motion to approve these action items?
Mayor,
Vice Mayor?
I move that we approve resolution items 1 through 9.
I have a second.
I second.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Knack and a second from Councilmember Shavira to approve recommended action items. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please vote nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it, so motion carries. We'll now move on to a review of bids and contracts. Mr. Bowers, can you please introduce item number 15, please?
Mayor, members of the council, item number 15 is the award of bid to Kincaid Civil Construction, LLC, for construction of Dysart Waterline for Northern Parkway landscaping. And Kathy Colbeth, Interim Executive Director of Transportation Services, is here to present.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Bowers, and good evening, Mayor and Council members. The Northern Parkway is a planned high-capacity roadway that will connect Grand Avenue to Loop 303. The parkway will provide many benefits, including improving east-west travel and serving the expected population and employment growth in that area. The project is currently under construction, with the first phase scheduled for completion in the summer of this year. Construction of water lines is needed to provide water to landscaping along the parkway. The city does not provide water services in the area, so Council approved an agreement in February of this year for a water main extension with Valley Utilities Water Company, which does provide water in that area. The approved agreement states that the city will construct and install the water line, and this request is for an approval for that water line. The city conducted a competitive bid process, and 10 bids were received. Kincaid Civil Construction, LLC, submitted the lowest responsive bid of $765,775 to construct the water line. Once the water line is completed, then Valley Utilities will absorb the cost to operate and maintain it. The funding for this water line is available in the Northern Parkway project and is GO-funded. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Do we have any questions from the council? Ms. Colbeth? Seeing none, thank you. Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor,
Councilmember Hugh.
I move the award of bid to Kirkland Civil Construction and authorize the city manager to enter into a construction agreement with Kincaid Civil Construction, LLC, in the amount not to exceed $765,775 to construct a water line extension.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Hugh, a second from Councilmember Martinez. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please vote nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it, motion carries. Mr. Bowers, would you please introduce item number 16?
Mayor, members of the council, item number 16 is a concession services lease agreement for the Foothills Recreation and Aquatic Center. And Eric Strunk, the Executive Director of Parks, Recreation, and Library Services, will present.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Mayor and Council, this is a request for approval of a lease agreement for seasonal summer concession sales at the Foothills Recreation and Aquatic Center. If approved, it'll allow the vendor, Perfetto de Cafe Incorporated, to provide concession services at the Foothills Recreation and Aquatic Center for the summer months, which is basically May to the first part of the end of May to the first part of August. A little bit of history. Since it opened in 2006, the Foothills Recreation Aquatic Center has always been designed to serve some type of concession food vendor services at the facility. And at first we did that with staff, and then we subsequently bid it out as appropriate based on the plan that was in place for the center. Initially, the contracting of the concession sales was year-round. However, just through experience and looking at volume of sales, it was determined both through the vendor and through staff that really the summer months were the busiest months, and economically it was most viable to the vendor to commit the sales and be there for that period of time. Earlier this year, we did issue an RFP to inquire as to who on the open street might be interested in running the summer operation at Foothills Recreation Aquatics. We had one response. They were deemed eligible, and we are recommending that you award the contract for summer concession sales to Perfetto de Cafe Incorporated. If you approve the contract, we estimate we'll receive about $5,000 in revenue over the summer months. That will be put into the general fund, and we also have the option to renew the contract up to 4 years annually based on performance and review of staff. Be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Mr. Strunk. Councilmember, any questions? Seeing none, you got off the hook, my friend.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Who said that?
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor, move that we approve the concession services lease agreement for the Foothills Recreation and Aquatic Center with Perfetto de Cafe Incorporated.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Martinez, a second from Vice Mayor Knack. Is there any discussion on the motion? All those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, please vote nay. Here's your ayes have it. Do have it so ordered. Motion carries. We'll now move to public hearing on ordinances. Mr. Bowers, will you please introduce item number 17?
Mayor, members of the council, item number 17 is an annexation application, AN-189, Litchfield Road and Bethany Home Road, and public hearing is required. John M. Froke, the AICP Planning Director, will present.
Thank you, Mr.
Froke,
Bowers. Thank you, Mayor, Council. Good evening. As Mr. Bowers indicated, this is the annexation request by Luke Land. Oh, we had the exhibit up there for a minute. There we go. This is a property that we brought forward to workshop back in early February, seeking guidance from council to proceed with the annexation request. The property is 167 acres on the west side of Litchfield Road, which is right here. And then the Bethany Home Road alignment, the property extends on both sides of that street. And to provide some further context, the Luke Air Force Base is right in this area, just north and west of the property. The final step is here tonight for you to conduct a public hearing and adopt an ordinance hereby approving the annexation of the property. If approved, the ordinance would become effective in 30 days, and then the city limits would expand into the 167 acres in question. The area in yellow already is in the city limits. This is, again, is Luke Air Force Base, so provided that the annexation is approved tonight, then the city limits will change, and then we'll proceed with zoning, which we're working on with the applicant who's here tonight, and we hope to come back in about a month's time and bring back the zoning case that would put M1 zoning light industrial on the property. Just a little bit further information. The public hearing was on the blank annexation was provided on March 26th. There was nobody there to speak at the evening meeting. So again, this will be the final step in the annexation process. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Froke. Council members, any questions?
Very well, thank you.
Very good. Okay. Public hearing is now open on annexation application AN-189, Litchfield Road and Bethany Home Road ordinance. Vice Mayor Knack, do you have any speakers? No speakers. If there's no one, or is there anyone here that would like to speak on this? Seeing none. Public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion?
Yes, Mayor, I move that we approve and adopt ordinance number 2842, new series.
I have a motion from Councilmember Shavira. Do I have a second?
Don't we need to read it? No? Yes.
We do, Mayor, we do have an ordinance that we have to read the title of.
Okay, well, can you undo your motion, and then we'll do that, and then we'll go back?
Mayor, I undo my motion.
Okay. Councilmember Shavira retracts his motion. Ms. Hannah.
Ordinance 2842, new series, an ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, extending and increasing the corporate limits of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, State of Arizona, pursuant to the provisions of Title IX, Chapter 4, Section 9-471, Arizona Revised Statutes and Amendments thereto, by annexing thereto certain territory located within an existing county island of the City of Glendale, consisting of approximately 167 acres at the northwest and southwest corners of Litchfield Road and Bethany Home Road, to be known as Annexation Area Number 189.
Okay. Mr. Shavira, would you like to make a motion?
Yes, sir, I will, Mayor. Mayor, I move that we approve and adopt ordinance number 2842, new series.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Shavira, a second from Councilmember Martinez. To approve recommended action, is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we will conduct a roll call vote, starting with Councilmember Sherwood.
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez.
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez.
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh.
Aye.
Councilmember Shavira.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Knack.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Mr. Bowers, before I go to Mr. Bowers, I would be remiss and if I didn't tell everybody in the audience that my wife is in the very back shadows, and I just seen her sitting back there, so she's checking up on me. Anyway, Mr. Bowers, could you please introduce item number 18?
Yes, sir, Mayor, members of the council. Item number 18 is an amendment to Chapter 21.1, the Model City Privilege, or better known as Sales Tax Code, It's an ordinance. Public hearing is required. It's ordinance number 2843. And Diane Goki, Chief Financial Officer for Financial Services, will present.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a request to conduct a public hearing, waive reading beyond the title, and adopt an ordinance amending Chapter 21.1 Model City Privilege Tax Code that incorporates technical corrections and statutory changes approved and adopted by the Municipal Tax Code Commission with an effective date of July 1st, 2013. The changes fall into three categories: technical corrections, clarifying language to the food and prosthetics definition in the retail classification for medical marijuana, and eliminating the annual business license exclusion for businesses whose net income is less than $3,000. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Councilmember, are there any questions for Ms. Goki? Seeing none, public hearing is now open on amendment to Chapter 21.1 Model City Privilege Sales Tax Code Ordinance. You said there are no speakers?
No, sir.
Okay, if there's anyone else here that would like to speak on this item? If not, public hearing is now closed. Do I have a motion?
Mayor.
We need to read this.
Oh, yeah, I need it.
Ms. Hannah?
Ordinance number 2843, new series. An ordinance of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, amending Chapter 21.1 Model City Privilege Sales Tax Code by adopting the 2012 Municipal Tax Code Commission's proposed code changes to the definitions of food, medical marijuana, and prosthetics, removing the waiver of license fees pursuant to Glendale City Code Section 21-21.310J, establishing an effective date, providing for severability, and providing penalties for violations.
Mayor,
Okay, now do I have a motion?
I move that we accept ordinance number 2843, new series, amendment to Chapter 21.1 of the Model City Privilege Sales Tax.
Second.
I have a motion from Councilmember Sherwood, a second from Vice Mayor Knack to approve the recommended action. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, we'll conduct a roll call vote. Councilmember Sherwood?
Aye.
Councilmember Alvarez?
Aye.
Councilmember Martinez?
Aye.
Councilmember Hugh?
Aye.
Councilmember Shavira?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Knack?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries. Moving on to resolutions, Mr. Bowers, will you please introduce item number 19?
Mayor, members of the council, item number 19 is the dissolution of the Western Loop 101 Public Facilities Corporation. Be presented by Diane Goki, Chief Financial Officer, Financial Services, and this is resolution number 4678.
Ms. Goki.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. This is a request for City Council to adopt a resolution authorizing the city manager to dissolve the Western Loop 101 Public Facilities Corporation. The Public Facilities Corporation was originally formed to be the financing conduit for the Camelback Ranch Glendale Spring Training for the Chicago White Sox and Los Angeles Dodgers. The bonds that were originally issued by the Public Facilities Corporation were refinanced under the Municipal Property Corporation last year. Therefore, there is no longer a need for the Public Facilities Corporation to exist. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Ms. Goki? Seeing none, thank you. Do we have any speakers?
No.
No? Ms. Hannah?
Resolution number 4678, new series. A resolution of the Council of the City of Glendale, Maricopa County, Arizona, authorizing the dissolution of the Western Loop 101 Public Facilities Corporation.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept and adopt Resolution 4678, new series.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Alvarez, a second from Vice Mayor Knack. Is there discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please vote nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it, so ordered. Motion carries. Moving on, request for future workshop and executive session. The next item on the agenda, for the council request, future workshop and executive sessions. Vice Mayor Knack, I believe you have a request to make.
I do. I move that we hold the next regularly scheduled City Council workshop on Tuesday, May 21st, 2013, at 1:30 p.m. in the City Council chambers, to be followed by an executive session pursuant to ARS 38-431.03.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Vice Mayor Knack and a second from Councilmember Martinez. Okay, to approve, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, please vote nay. Here's the ayes have it, do have it, so ordered. We move on to citizens' comments. Portion of the meeting, council makes this opportunity available to our citizens to bring information and business before the council that is important to the city of Glendale. It's not on the agenda this evening, so we cannot take action on that information. Do you have any cards?
Yes, Mayor. Mr. Bill Dembski.
Mr. Dembski, would you like to come up, sir?
My name is Bill Dembski. I live in Glendale, 5410 West Beck Lane, Glendale, Arizona, 85306. Every time I read the paper now, I used to cry about it. Now I just, whatever. The first one. As you probably know, I was employed by City of Glendale for 17 years. The waste, graft, and corruption that I saw. I went so far as to the chain of command, Ken Reedy, Mayor Scruggs. Don't worry, we'll raise the taxes. They were buying junk, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment, junk, and they'd go out and try it. We try it, come back, it's junk. We'll try it, whatever. They said, go park this in the back, Lions Field, park in the back. It was so pathetic. Somebody'd go out there, pull the ignition switch, so the engine wasn't running, but the hour meter was. So then they send mechanics over, change the oil, change the filters, whatever. Sitting in the back at Lions Field for a couple of years, then they go to auction and whatever. But, you know, it's apparently, this is from the 80s and 90s. Apparently it's still going on. On the front page of the Arizona Republic, runningjobbing.com arena tops $5.5 million. Previous deals have cost Glendale $25 million. How in God's name, he's the city manager, Beasley. The guy was either lying through his teeth or he's a total ignoramus. How can you be $40 million off a $50 million deal? And God knows how many other deals he gave the city of Glendale. But, you know, previous council didn't have a solid number on what the city should pay for the arena management. We have never been able to get a hold of a solid number. Councilman Manny Martinez says. Former manager Ed Beasley told the council on May 11, 2010, that the then proposed $25 million payment was strictly to pay for arena operations. There are some things I think that have been misunderstood. This item is not to pay for the operating losses of the NHL. It's a fee, the NHL, is to operate our arena. The guy is either lying through his teeth or he's a total, or was, he's gone. He's enjoying his $193,000 a year pension. But like I said, in the 80s and 90s, I brought this up. I went crying to all, it was going on then. And apparently it's going on. How in God's name can you be $40 million off out of a $50 million deal? Is anybody can go back and say, what the heck went on? How can you be lying or you're totally inept? And he's got this consulting firm now. How many of these deals did he make on our dime that he's got his customers paying him more? Whatever. But one other thing I read in the paper. Council member Samuel Chavera responded protectively to Mayor Jerry Weir's suggestion that perhaps firefighters work on their fire trucks to help cut costs from mechanic shops and repairs. Quote, as far as firefighters working on trucks, they have a lot on their plate, Chavera says. We need to keep them ready to do what they need to do in case of emergency. If I had a penny for every time I've been at Sprouts, Fry's, Safeway, Albertsons, and here comes the fire truck, 4 or 5 guys get out, they go. I confront them every single time. I ask them, I said, are you on city time? Oh, yeah, we're on 24 hours. I said, I worked City Glendale 17 years, and not once did I get paid to go grocery shopping. We're on 24 hours. I said, well, do you have any days off you can go shopping? Well, yeah. I said, well, why don't you go shop? Oh, we're on 24, we're off 2. I said, well, why don't you go shopping those 2 days you're off? Why on the dime? Why aren't you scrubbing the floors or cleaning the fire trucks or something, or doing something besides shopping on our dime? Whatever. This happened. If I had a penny for every time I confronted a fire truck with firefighters and all these grocery stores. But, nobody wants to do anything. This goes on, everybody knows it. The name of the game in City of Glendale is don't rock the boat. We got another one. It was in the paper. Juan Martinez, the prosecutor in this Jody Arias trial, it was in the paper. He makes $107,000. The guy's a brilliant prosecutor, and he makes $107,000, and you look at all the hundreds and hundreds of people for the city of Glendale making $150,000, $200,000. The spokesperson for the city of Glendale, $151,000, and here Juan Martinez, $107,000. The pay structure is so insane, and we're $2 billion in debt. Did anybody ever say, well, look, you're making $200,000, you think we can have a little cutback for a while, whatever? But like I said, the garbage, the insanity that I had 17 years, I tried to do something about it. I went the chain of command all the way up, and everybody, don't worry, we'll raise the property taxes, don't worry about it. That mentality apparently is still going on with Beasley, $40 million area on a $50 million deal.
Okay. Are you finished? Your time's up.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. You have someone else?
I do. Mr. Kyle Straight.
Straight? Mr. Straight.
Thanks again, mayors and members of the council. I appreciate the time you guys give to allow us to come up and address you guys. I just wanted to say, I have seen this city struggle and more times, especially when the economy, basically the bottom fell out of the economy. And it just kind of, excuse me, it's just been kind of going downhill from there. But, I have faith that things will turn around in time. There's misspending, there's this, that. People go off in every which way. I mean, I try to focus on it. Probably my head was probably spinning about 180 degrees and probably not so good. But anyhow, long story short, I am just grateful that you guys are trying to do your best with the budget you have and everything that's going on. And just, I think things can be better. So I really would encourage you guys to try to do best as you can. And I would just continually ask and I would encourage the city just to keep trying to do the best they can. And you'll have some proud citizens, maybe some ones that are not so proud, but mostly proud. At least you got one that's proud. Thank you.
Thank you. And anyone else?
No.
Okay. That concludes our citizens' comments portion of the meeting, and we'll now move on to council comments and suggestions. We'll start with Mr. Sherwood.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. A couple items tonight. Digital billboards. Glendale needs to become part of the 21st century when it comes to this. Most of this, our brethren cities have already dealt with this and have strong ordinances in place. We don't appear to be too business friendly on this, and this is nothing on the planning or commercial economic development in general. I know during the when this was attempted to pass 3 different times on the Planning Commission, there was always a tie vote, so it never passed. And so the city ended up passing the sports and entertainment, an ordinance just to deal with that area, which came after a couple of their signs had already been erected. So I'm hoping that we can put this on a council agenda in the future, and I'll bring that up at our next workshop. We seem to be okay in the sports and entertainment district, but there's plenty of other areas that we're losing some economic opportunity. We're missing the boat at some of these locations, and all I'm after is that these should continue to be, I think the best way is to handle these on a case-by-case basis, where we use the process of city planning commission, and then the council, and use our current ordinance as a boilerplate for this. Second item, and I'm going to refer back to the Friday, April 26th workshop, which was really our last budget session. I was really disappointed, and I haven't come out before this, but I was really disappointed in how council was set up as it pertained to the supplements for both police and fire, and a discussion on to ease maybe some of the retirement medical premiums that were coming up quite high. And also disappointed that there was a call to action letter that came out of the police union highlighting the very individuals that were trying to help their cause. PD had just been authorized to hire 19 sworn officers out of this year's budget, which had been mistakenly, in my opinion, put on hold last December. And then they put forward another supplement for 31 more officers. So, and basically, we were looking for 50 sworn officers. That 31 was for FY14. And that pretty much blew everything else out of the water for that workshop in terms of what fire request had been, which they had downgraded from 14 or 15 to 8, plus a couple lease trucks, and also some relief, maybe at one or two levels of the retirement medical benefits for those levels that had really high % of increase. This is no way pitting one public safety entity after another. It was simply looking at resources available to need. I won't get into the specifics, but I hope there's a will of the council to visit this in the next appropriate time. And along with that, we still have the arena to deal with, whatever becomes of that, and that's going to be a topic that comes up here in the next several weeks. So I think the figure that was put in there initially was grossly underestimated, as I do some of the revenue sources to support that. So that concludes my comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sherwood. Councilmember Alvarez.
I have none.
Councilmember Martinez.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Wasn't going to have a comment, but I will speak now about I also want to speak about digital billboards. This topic has come up before. I and others have met with a certain law group who is pushing this, frankly, in the city of Glendale. And when I met with them, I told them that I would not support it. The voters, excuse me, not the voters. I know that in the for the 101, south of where these boundaries are now, south of Northern, that they were not to go in there. I know there's one particular PAD that is of interest to this particular group, and they probably will come forward with a request. But I can tell you that there's opposition from the citizens. I can tell you, for example, the Homeowners Association 1 and 2 out there for sure. I know that Dr. Geppinger from the university is also opposed to it. There's others, and it'll probably come up. But this is a topic that has been discussed here in the past couple of months, and in fact now I believe Mr. Bowers. I believe that you received a letter from the manager, not the manager, the mayor of Peoria. I thought we received a letter from them that they're also opposed to it, because I keep hearing that supposedly the Peoria, if we don't take advantage of this and get some revenues, that the city of Peoria is going to jump on it. But I thought I saw a letter come in that they are not in support.
Yes, Mayor, members of the council, Councilmember Martinez, I did receive a letter from them. I don't remember the exact nature of it, but I did receive a letter from them.
Okay. So much for that. I'm sure that'll probably be coming back, but I just want to make those comments. And regarding the budget, I don't know how many times we've discussed that, especially public safety, and know how the people feel about that. As I said before, we all support it, but we just don't have the money now. And I guess before too long, we're going to be voting on the budget, and so we can, put it behind us and be done with it once and for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Martinez. Councilmember Hugh.
None tonight.
Sir?
None.
Nothing? Councilmember Shavira?
Thank you, Mayor. Just a quick comment. I just want to reiterate the night that we were sworn in, and Mayor, I will always do my best and the best of my abilities to serve the citizens and the employees of Glendale. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Connect.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the one I lost a few months ago, and I found it. So this is my comments. I want to share some information with the residents about an important program through the Animal Defense League of Arizona. Many times we get calls in our offices from residents asking what can be done with feral cats. These are free-roaming cats that really don't belong to a family. Oftentimes, someone in the neighborhood feeds the cats, but they actually don't belong to them. If the cats continue to breed, their population grows, and this can cause lots of problems among the neighbors. The Animal Defense League of Arizona works very hard to humanely reduce the number of cats out on our streets. They currently have funds available in 2 Glendale zip codes, 85301 and 85302, thanks to a grant from PetSmart Charities and funding from the Arizona Humane Society to be able to fix these outside cats for free. The program that they'll assist with is called Trap, Neuter, Return, or TNR. They work with several vets around the valley. They'll schedule the surgery at the closest participating vet. They'll lend traps to help catch the cats. They provide instructions on setting the traps and where to take cats. They pick the cats up after surgery and return them to the same place. This TNR program has been researched and is proven to be the best way to reduce the population of these cats. If we do nothing, things will not improve for the cats or for us. I really encourage neighbors that may have these free-roaming cats in their neighborhood to get together. See if we can work together for the good of the neighborhood and the good of the cats to try this program. If you're a Beryl resident but not in zip code 85302, please contact me, as I'm committed to helping by assisting neighborhoods with the cost. This time of year, when many more kittens are born, is the time to take action. So, and it's really is a humane thing to do for these animals. Please call my office if you're interested in working with this program. And I do know that Darcy McCracken, who is a member of my district, actually did this, and it worked. And if you would like a recommendation from her, she'll be happy to tell you all about it. So, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, my turn. Being someone that likes to try to work problems out, the one thing that 2 council members have talked about tonight, and obviously they're on different sides of the issue, I'm trying to take a middle approach to the issue, and I've done some research on that, and what I've discovered with the billboards is the fact that our ordinances are very messed up. Depending on, if you have the attorneys with you, depending on how you read it, it can read different things to who reads it. And what I would like to do is I'd like to, not the issue of the particular billboard, but I'd like the council to address that we fix the ordinances to where it's the same for everybody, that everybody understands exactly how that ordinance works, and that each issue is done on a per billboard issue rather than one size fits all, which it really doesn't. Things are changing with the annexation that's going out to 303. There's going to be opportunities, there's no doubt. I think more importantly, we need to fix those issues and make them legal to where we don't have attorneys coming up and willing to fight for one issue when our attorneys think it's a different way, and yet when you read it, you can see both sides. So that's really where my issue is, and I'd like to bring that to a workshop to where we can discuss that and try to fix that. With that, if there's no objection from the council, this meeting is adjourned.
It's a sound most of us know all too well, tires whizzing past on concrete freeways. But thousands of residents who live near Valley freeways are experiencing a new, quieter existence thanks to our region's commitment to pave Valley freeways with rubberized asphalt.
Yeah, the impact was almost immediate. We've noticed a tremendous reduction of noise.
Before the rubberized asphalt, it was almost a continuous whoosh of tires on the surface of the freeway, just almost continuous. And that has pretty well disappeared since they put the new surface down.
There was an overnight change. It was very much a big difference.
These residents of the FQ Story Neighborhood Historic District live just a stone's throw from Interstate 10. For many, the freeway is visible from their backyard. Many have been here for years and say their quality of life deteriorated at the same rate freeway volumes increased. Property values also declined.
I mean, we lost a great, big, huge section of our neighborhood for the freeway. So, you know, that alone was quite a shock to the neighborhood and a hardship for the neighborhood to lose a great big swath of the neighborhood itself and all the beautiful homes that went in there.
When we first moved into the house, we're laying in bed and we're hearing this continuous roar. And we thought to ourselves, oh, what did we do here?
We live in a canyon area here with the construction of I-10 freeway and the way the walls are configured. And that whine would bounce off of the walls and just waft over the neighborhood, so it was extreme.
That all changed 5 years ago when the Maricopa Association of Governments, which determines how freeway dollars are spent, designated $34 million to pave 115 miles of valley freeways with rubberized asphalt. The program was implemented in cooperation with the Arizona Department of Transportation and the Governor's Office. One early champion for rubberizing the new freeway system was Chandler Mayor Boyd Dunn, who insisted that rubberized asphalt be part of the design of the Loop 202 Santan Freeway.
We knew about rubberized asphalt, we knew its potential, and I felt it was a new technology that could be brought into the freeways. We had enormous involvement of neighborhood associations, citizens along the freeway that wanted to design the freeway to be as compatible with their neighborhood as possible. And so I felt very strongly that rubberized asphalt should be part of that freeway.
Rubberized asphalt is a mixture of 20% granulated tire rubber or crumb rubber and 80% liquid asphalt cement, creating an asphalt rubber binder. The binder is mixed together with small stones of uniform size and shape. While most asphalt is about 4 inches thick, rubberized asphalt is poured in a thin layer, only 1 inch thick. The rubber particles help reduce vibration and noise energy.
Whenever the automotive industry is trying to fix a noisy part on an automobile, the first thing they do is put a piece of rubber in between the two components that are making the noise. So likewise, with this material, you have millions of pieces of rubber in between all of the rocks. So as one rock gets hit by the tire, that sound energy is absorbed.
Listen to the difference as this vehicle moves from rubberized asphalt to a concrete surface. Carlson says the difference isn't just in the loudness of the sound, but in the type of frequency produced, going from a high-pitched whine to a lower, more muffled sound.
On concrete or hard materials, it generates a real high-pitched, irritating noise. And in that particular frequency, you can have as much as a 15 decibel reduction in the noise energy.
Elected officials serving on the MAG Transportation Policy Committee and Regional Council quickly recognized that rubberized asphalt was essential in preserving neighborhoods. In developing the 20-year Regional Transportation Plan, local governments committed another $59 million for rubberized asphalt projects. That plan was approved by voters as Proposition 400 in 2004. In addition to repaving some of the noisiest freeway stretches in the region, the plan calls for all new freeways to be surfaced with rubberized asphalt as they are built.
And I think voters saw the benefit of building freeways in the way that be more compatible, especially in the urban environment. Citizens want freeways, but those neighbors or neighborhoods that are living next to freeways really want the freeways to be a good neighbor. And rubberized asphalt has made a world of difference.
Project by project and really season by season, we're going to do more and more sections using Proposition $400. So that's going to be a big advancement over the next, I'd say, 2 to 3 years.
Ironically, rubberized asphalt was not originally developed for its noise reduction properties. It was first developed by a Phoenix engineer named Charles McDonald to repair potholes through a solution known as rubberized chip seal. When the chip seal proved exceptionally durable, the city began laying the product across the entire roadway to add longer life to the pavement. ADOT then became interested in its use on freeways as a means to reduce pavement cracking.
The primary purpose of using rubber is it's very tough and durable material, but what they like most about it is that it resists cracking. Because you have millions of little pieces of rubber in there, and rubber doesn't crack.
Once they had the right mix, they also learned they needed to apply it at the right temperature.
When we first started experimenting with it, I can remember an inspector calling me up and saying, it's sticking to our tires, we can't put this stuff down. And that's when we learned that it had to have a higher temperature of application.
Soon, engineers noticed yet another positive feature of rubberized asphalt. It was waterproof and didn't polish like concrete. ADOT soon engineered its use to take advantage of its skid-resistant properties. Watch the difference in water spray as this vehicle goes from standard pavement to rubber pavement. City officials say in the long run, the cost is comparable to regular asphalt pavement.
1 inch of asphalt rubber is about the equivalent of 2 inches of regular asphalt. So while its initial expense on a ton per ton basis is higher, your cost is really lower on a long-term basis because you're putting less down, and it doesn't crack.
There seems to be no end to the benefits of rubberized asphalt. Not only is it quieter and more durable than regular pavement, new research finds it may have air quality benefits as well.
So what we did back in 2004, we have measured the aerosol samples and the PM emissions before the asphalt rubber overlay, and then we came back in 2005 and we measured after the asphalt rubber overlay.
Camille Kalouche is a researcher in the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering at Arizona State University. He and his team have been studying whether rubberized asphalt reduces tire wear emissions, those microscopic pieces of rubber dust that become airborne as a tire wears. When breathed in, these emissions, known as PM or particulate matter, can enter the lungs and create health problems. To conduct the study, the researchers needed to find a way to trap air emissions so they could measure samples. They found the perfect laboratory in the Deck Park Tunnel.
The tunnel provided the excellent setup in terms of some kind of encased environment. So all the samples we are actually measuring has no other interference from other environmental factors.
First, samples were taken in the tunnel while it still had a concrete surface. After ADOT paved the tunnel with rubberized asphalt, the emissions were measured again.
The study really found that the existing road surfaces that we had previously before the rubberized asphalt produce about 1.5 to 2 times more tire wear emissions comparing to this new rubberized asphalt surface that we have.
The researchers plan to replicate the experiment to confirm their positive findings. And they are also studying whether rubber pavement reduces the heat island effect.
This material, in fact, is a porous material. It has a lot of air void cushions in it. So, in fact, what it can, and it's also a very thin layer. It's about 1 inch or even less sometimes. So having such a thin layer on top will have the benefit of cooling down much faster at nighttime.
One environmental benefit has already been proven. Every lane mile of rubberized asphalt uses about 1,000 recycled tires, for a total of about 10,000 tires for every freeway mile. To date, more than 1 million tires have been spared from Arizona landfills. So what began through the ingenuity of a single Phoenix engineer as a pothole patching product has evolved into a technology that reduces noise, resists cracking and adds life to pavement, makes it safer and more skid resistant, reduces landfill waste, eliminates pollution, and holds promise for reducing the heat island effect. For Valley residents, it all adds up to a better quality of life.
I'm all over the valley a good part of the day and a lot of freeway driving and just a lot more pleasant on the chunks of freeway that have the rubberized product.
People stroll along, the sidewalks and enjoy the outdoors with their children and their dogs and that sort of thing. And it's not really a topic of conversation even about the freeway noise being an issue anymore.
In the meantime, engineers from around the world are showing an interest in Arizona's successful rubberized asphalt program.
One advantage of having this on the freeway systems here in Phoenix is that we have over 12 million visitors annually coming out here. And they ride on this stuff and they notice how quiet and smooth it is, and they want to have the same stuff in their hometown.
And while the list of benefits is long, Carlson says ultimately it will be the noise reduction properties that will take this technology around the world. Kelly Taft, Maricopa Association of Governments.
Hello and welcome to Glendale Today. I'm Councilmember Ian Hugh and I represent the residents of the Cactus District located in the southeast portion of Glendale. Today I have a special program for you. We're going to talk about Lo Rogers.
The League of Decency requested that I wear these. And if you've never seen me direct before, you'll know why.
He came here from the Midwest and was an educator in music for many years in the city of Glendale and formed the first community band for the city of Glendale. With me as a guest I have Curtis Rogers, his son, Jay Maines, also known as Juan Oscar, Gordon Williford. All my guests today have a deep connection with Lo Rogers, have played with him, grew up playing music and understanding Lo. Let's start with Lo coming to Glendale. He was as a child growing up, he always told me he was a prodigy drummer. Is that true, Curtis?
I've been told that.
Told you the same thing?
Oh, yeah.
You tell us you're a prodigy trombone player, so we never know.
That's true. Well, Lo told me I was a prodigy trombone player.
He told a lot of people it was like a stamp. So everyone that graduated from his class he was just prodigy.
Yeah,
Next one, prodigy.
I started with your dad in 5th grade playing in his band. Enjoyed it, played in the district band that he had formed, and we traveled the state and played as a Glendale Wildcat. We played in Prescott for the Pioneers Home. We played for Fort Whipple, which was a veterans home.
Yeah, a lot of those.
Yeah, Legend City
too.
with Hubcap and the Wheels. I think we opened for Hubcap.
Oh, really?
Curtis, did you play for your dad?
Just a few times, only in the one district band. I was pretty much in the audience and somewhat too young to be in the bands. And also I was playing in my own bands back then too. But I was under his direction maybe 2 or 3 times. That's all I've ever played under his direction.
And as a student?
Yeah.
How did it go?
Oh,
you
wonderful. Legendary.
Well, the first 50 years of
your
life, you remember.
The shoe story. Yes.
There was, the shoe story. I was playing some beat, and Dad goes, "All right, play that beat again." And I'm like, "What beat? I just played 4 beats." "That one beat again." "I just played. What beat do you want?" Next thing you know, I looked down, and then something hit the drums, and he threw a shoe at me. And I'm like, "What? Who throws a shoe?"
That's not the only time he's done that, though.
And he's thrown the shoes many times.
We came up short of bass drum mallet at a concert one, and he threw one back for the guy to use it.
Yeah, to use his
to actually
shoe
hit
for,
a bass drum. Yeah,
that was very interesting. I got to hear that when we got home too. So I usually got it twice.
Gordon, you studied with Lo in grade school and then got to play in the summer band.
Yeah, I was in the district honor band with him. And then for an 8th grade graduation present, he allowed me to play with the community band. You had to have a relative in the band or be over 18. And he gave myself and another member of my band a graduation present and let us play on the final concert, which we signed the mailing list and got invited back the next year by mistake, supposedly. He always found a way. That's where we actually met. I was terrified by Councilmember Hugh back then.
Yeah, I wasn't Councilmember Hugh back then.
No,
I remember when you first came. I saw you standing there. I thought you'd just gotten out of high school.
I was a big kid.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say it. And I thought Lo brought you, to join an adult band because you just got out, out of high school, which was a requirement. I still remember when I met you. I said, come over, sit next to me, kid.
Yeah, you told me to count all your measures rest too. That was awesome.
Yeah, yeah. And you know why I did. Because I don't count. You had to learn a lot in that band.
Oh, yeah.
Quick.
Well, the nice part about that band, he was real big on not over-rehearsing, if rehearsing at all. There were a lot of times he would just pop a brand new song in concert night. One time he did an entire concert that way, if you remember.
And we played it.
And it actually was a really good educational experience because that happens in the professional world a lot. You sit down, you play something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
And so at a young age, I got an experience that I never thought I would get.
Oh, Lo was excited, wasn't he? He always said, we're going to go straight to concert. No rehearsal, straight to concert. And we were there for that. Jay, when I first joined the summer band, I'd coached baseball for a good number of years and decided I had enough. I was going to play in the band. I was excited. Playing a concert, Gordon, you were with me in the trombone section, O'Neill Park. We used to play in the park, and Jay showed up, a professional. And he was setting up a keyboard and a mic, and Lo would do that. He would have people come and do some different things every so often. So now I'm bragging how I grew up with Jay and what a great player he is. He's going to sing a song. He'll probably sing, real man's anthem like My Way and just, bring us to tears. And man, he got up there and it was, the sun's coming out tomorrow.
It did, didn't it?
And I go, man, it's a little girl song. Well, but Jay, Gordon and I, we were there for you. We started cheering after that, saying, do another one, do On the Good Ship Lollipop. We were cheering
and
for you.
I did it, right? Real quick, when I was in elementary school, I went to Our Lady of Perpetual Help. And I was right across the street from Unit 1, and of course, Ian lived right behind me. But I knew who the band director was. I was taking piano lessons, but I knew who the band director was at Unit 1. And so I would kind of sneak around after school. I'd talk to your dad, and that's kind of where we got to know. He knew I went to the Catholic school, and then all through high school I got to know him better. And when I used to do recordings and so forth in college, I used to take it to him and have him, listen to him. And then he was the one that hired me, got me first hired in the Glendale Elementary District. It was a half-time job. It was a good start. And at that same time, he had his retirement party. 2 years later, and he told me I could only stay for half the party. But we've always kept in contact to the end, and in fact, Lowell and my dad both love bowler ties, so I wore this in memory of both of them.
Well, listen, if you played for Lowell, you had to have a sense of humor.
Oh yeah.
In grade school, he lectured us on the proper way to tell jokes, the proper way to listen to jokes. And that's because he was going to tell the jokes, so we had to learn how to listen to his jokes. Concerts, he would turn around and face the band, and we were all laughing because he's telling us something different than he just told the audience. It was a blast playing for Lo. He would do his, all of a sudden you hear a clarinet squeak, that squeak again, he'd get up, point at somebody, throw him out of the band at a concert. Well, if somebody didn't even play an instrument just for a joke, and the one guy did it and said, as he was packing up, one of the clarinetists goes, you weren't that bad. He wasn't even playing. He was a principal from the school district.
One time at one of the summer band concerts, he let me do a 5-minute stand-up routine. Remember at the end of the year, the last season, the last day of the concert.
Sure.
And they weren't going good. I mean, the jokes were bombing.
But Lowell was big on charity work.
But
so.
yeah, and he complimented me, said, you had a way of giving the people an impression that I wrote those jokes.
Listen, we could talk for hours about Lo Rogers and everything he's done for the community. The reason we have an amphitheater today is because the architect was Bob Sexton, the tenor sax player in the summer band who played at O'Neill Park, and he put that amphitheater into the new complex. Listen, we're going to wrap it up. And after the break,
we'll start with a march.
I'm going to bring up the new band director for the Community Summer Band. We're going to have a band playing after this who are all people who have a connection with Lo Rogers. Thank you.
Bring the family, tell your neighbors, and be sure you make plans to attend the 47th Annual Glendale Summer Band Concert Series. Music starts at 8 p.m. every Thursday from June 6th to July 25th at the Murphy Park Amphitheater in historic downtown Glendale. A special Independence Day performance will be held on Wednesday, July 3rd at 8 p.m. A treasured entertainment tradition, the Glendale Summer Band is the longest-running community band in Arizona. Bring a lawn chair and blanket and enjoy a fun-filled evening under the stars. Admission and parking are free. For information, visit glendaleaz.com or call 623-930-2299.
We had some fun in the first segment talking about Glendale Summer Band's origin. Now our newest band director, Ken Yeager, has joined me to talk about what's coming for the next year. Congratulations, Ken, on taking over the band.
Thank you very much.
I know John Ferris was director for 19 years.
19 years, yes.
I know you helped him probably for all those years.
Well, I have been in the band for 17 years, and I was band manager for the last 12, helping John out, sorting the music and setting up the rehearsals and the performances.
Right. I played a couple of those concerts, and I knew you were helping run the show, sitting playing first chair trombone. I was down 20 chairs down from you in the trombone section. Probably where I belong. I know we talked about how the band rehearses and performs a concert. Is that how you're going to continue with the band?
Why mess with success? We're going to rehearse every Tuesday night for 2 hours and perform a concert on Thursday, a new concert every week. So pretty much we read the music on Tuesday and then we read it again on Thursday.
Are there any other bands that perform that do that?
Not that I know of. Most community bands will rehearse for several weeks before they put on a concert.
Are those paid people that can pull that off?
Many of the community bands are associated with community colleges and so forth, so they meet once a week, and then every 6 or 8 weeks we'll put on a concert.
And how large is the band?
Well, we've been consistently over 100 members for the last couple years, sometimes hitting as much as 130.
That's huge.
That is.
Yeah, and it's all volunteers?
All volunteers.
Variety of age groups?
From high school on up to, I think the oldest member I ever heard of was 91.
Oh my goodness. Tell me, the 4th of July is always a big concert. You plan on continuing that tradition?
Yes, it's going to stay pretty much the same. It's going to be on July 3rd this year because the 4th is a Thursday and people want to be with their families and cook out and go to fireworks. So it'll be on Wednesday the 3rd. That'll be the only change this year.
Fantastic. You're going to do a lot of marches that night.
We do a lot of marches, a lot of patriotic tunes, close with the Stars and Stripes Forever.
Oh, that's a great one. You can't follow that one up, can you?
No.
What's a typical concert? What's the music lineup?
Well, we typically play 10 to 12 tunes. We'll start with a march or some exciting piece. We'll play 3 or 4 marches, a couple of medleys, movie or Broadway show medleys, a polka, a couple novelty numbers. So it's varied. It's concert in the park type music.
Sure. How does somebody join the community band?
They just show up. If they play a band instrument and they want to play, just show up to Glendale High School band room on Tuesday night beginning May 28th and sign in and become a part of the band. There is no cost to join, and we accept high school age musicians on up, high school age musicians if they are capable of playing our level of music.
That's fantastic. Ken, thank you.
Thank you.
I know the band has been in good hands, and again, congratulations on taking the band over. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to have a band perform for you. Stay tuned because we have some music.
Bring the family, tell your neighbors, and be sure you make plans to attend the 47th Annual Glendale Summer Band Concert Series. Music starts at 8 p.m. every Thursday from June 6th to July 25th at the Murphy Park Amphitheater in historic downtown Glendale. A special Independence Day performance will be held on Wednesday, July 3rd at 8 p.m. A treasured entertainment tradition, the Glendale Summer Band is the longest-running community band in Arizona. Bring a lawn chair and blanket and enjoy a fun-filled evening under the stars. Admission and parking are free. For information, visit glendaleaz.com or call 623-930-2299.
Welcome back. I have some friends of mine, and they all have played for Lowell Rogers, and we got together to play a couple of songs.
Temperature's rising, got my feet on the floor. 20 people around me and they wanna go more. Let me in, baby, I don't know what you got, but you better take it easy, cause this place is hot. And now I'm so glad you made it. So glad you made it. You got to give me some loving. Give me some loving. Give me some loving every day. everything is selling high. You better take it easy, cause this place is on fire. It's been a hard day and I don't know what to do. We made it, baby, and it happened to you. And I'm so glad you made it. So glad you made it. You got to give me some loving. Give me some loving. Give me some loving every day.
Searching for something to say. Flashing lights against the sky. Giving up, I close my eyes. Woo-hoo, yeah. Sitting cross-legged on the floor. 25 or 6 to 4. Staring blindly into space, getting up to splash my face, wanting just to stay away, wondering how much I can take. Should I try to do some more? 25 or 6 to 4. searching for something to say. I'm waiting for the break of day. 25 or 6 to 4. 25 or 6 to 4. Now don't you ever hold me sad. Lean on me when times get bad. When the day comes and I know you're down in a river of trouble, you're about to drown. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. On my way, your lover. Cold, I'll be your cover. Never have to worry, 'cause I'm here. Don't need to suffer, baby, 'cause I'm here. Hold on, I'm coming. Woo. Hold on, I'm coming. Woo. Hold on, yeah, I'm coming. Ah. Hold on, I'm coming. Let me hear y'all. Reach out to me for satisfaction. Oh, call my name for quick reaction. Hey, don't you ever be sad. I want you to lean on me when times get bad. When the day comes and I know you're down in the river of trouble, you melt it down. Hold on, I'm coming. Hold on, I'm coming. Yeah, hold on, I'm coming. Yeah, hold on. I'm coming, oh, hold on, I'm coming, here I come, hold on, here I come, I'm coming.
I'm a friendly stranger in a black sedan. I want you to hop inside my car. Got pictures, got candy, I'm a lovable man, and I can take you to the nearest star. Your vehicle, baby, take you anywhere you want to go. Your vehicle, woman, but now I'm sure you know that I love you, I need you, I want you, got to have you time. Great God in heaven, you know I love you. Well, if he wants to be a movie star,